Hey guys, it is episode 132 of 4PlayerAnimecast. We're heading straight in. Finally, we're getting some colder weather again. Although for some reason there's been like this really warm weather around where I live for the past like couple of weeks, which is really weird. But anyways, it is the 30th of November, 10 p.m. on the eastern coast of the United States, going straight into December, and we are at the last part of our reviews for the fall 2019 season. After this, we're gonna have a preview for the winter season, as well as our infamous awards show, which you should obviously check out both of them because they're pretty fun shows. And we're going to be detailing the schedule of that here or in the future. We're going to send out updates on what the exact date is for the New Year's podcast, the awards podcast. So check us out on our social media for that. But yeah, again, we're going to be trying to cover the last sort of remnants of the fall season, and there are a decent amount of remnants. Again, a lot of pretty good shows this season. Nothing that I think a lot of. I don't think there were a lot of shows that people were just like, nah, like, just or like were surprised by, or like too disappointed by. You know what I mean? Where it's like there are some shows where it's like the premise was pretty flat from the beginning, and then the disappointment continued, right? Like for me, like Rifle is Beautiful, it was pretty obvious, like it wasn't going to be the best of shows, right? But I feel like a lot of the shows that had the premises delivered, which was pretty surprising for Japanese anime seasons these days. But yeah, here we are. But without further ado, let's get into our intros. With me are my compatriots. Dark, how have you been doing these past 2 weeks?
You know, been alright. Been keeping up with most stuff.
Okay, so
Kind of about it.
any new shows you've been watching? Anything, or
Uh,
like manga, whatever.
no, I've been meaning to pick back up. What is the average one? Like I told you, the average.
Make my abilities average.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I've been meaning to pick that one back up. Picked up Babylon for today, and I think I'm gonna pick up the other investigation show as well. But yeah, I haven't really started much new just because there wasn't really much for me to start like that I haven't touched yet. I think really the only show that I haven't really picked up yet is I think just Beastars other than those other two.
Yeah, again, as we discussed in one or two episodes ago, you usually start off with a wider base and then cut off stuff or continue stuff as the season progresses, right?
Yeah, I haven't really cut off much though. I don't think
Yeah,
I've
I mean,
really
again,
cut
this
off
season, like,
anything.
yeah, a lot, like, again, there are like flat premises, like premises from the beginning. You're like, I don't know about this. But like the premises that were okay, like usually panned out pretty well for this season. Again, very surprising. So okay, so you'll be talking to us a little bit more about one of the series that you watched coming up. And Nier,
Hi.
what have you been up to these past 2 weeks?
Oh, you know,
Keep
um,
keep on keeping on.
yeah, I got back into Shadows.
Did you win?
Yeah, I've been winning a lot actually. The mini expansion came out, and none of the decks that I play use the new cards, so it didn't matter. But I don't know. I think I'm enjoying it. I've been winning a lot. That usually helps, winning. But yeah, just playing my old mid-range Shadowcraft deck.
Apparently, Shadow is really obnoxious. Like,
Shadow's good. Shadow's
yeah,
strong. It just kind of keeps shitting followers out, and pretty hard to remove. And then when you do remove them, it's like, haha, I can just bring them back.
yeah,
It's nice because Shadowcraft has kind of like suffered a lot in the past few expansions, just like a lack of identity.
Mhm.
Like the cards weren't using necromancies. They introduced the reanimate.
Yeah, the
Um,
reanimate mechanic was a mess. I think it was
and
pretty.
it was a good idea, but it was very obvious the side games was like, well, we can't make anything with this reanimate mechanic too strong,
Right.
otherwise, you know, it gets way out of hand way too fast.
It kind of acted like a lot of the cards around it seemed to act like what is it? I keep forgetting the name. The follower that you can summon when you have like 4 creatures on the board, and then you just kill them all.
Atomi, yeah,
The
Yeah,
tree?
yeah, Lord Atomy.
Oh, that one.
yeah. Funny because a lot of unlimited decks are actually still using Atomi.
Yeah, I mean
Because
the power swing is just too much.
yeah,
You just YOLO roll for it.
the what is it? It's like I forget what the tech is, but like one of the new cards, where it's like uh it's a last words card, right? And it's basically if I think it's if 10 followers with last words were destroyed uh in the match, once you play her, then you get like a leader effect where if every follower you play,
Oh, I
or
think I've
actually
seen that.
every follower and amulet you play,
Mhm.
they get last words, deal 2 damage to the enemy leader, right?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
So you get that leader effect going, and then you fill your entire board, and then you play a Tomi, and then he kills your entire board, and it's just immediate face damage, right?
Yeah,
It's pretty gnarly plays, but yeah, so it's fun. It's fun.
pretty good. Okay.
But other than that, I've been watching anime, kind of keeping up with Baker and Order Babylonia.
Mhm.
I haven't watched the last like couple episodes, but no, it's kind of what happens when you know how a story goes, right? But
Yeah, you're kind of in it for like to see kind of how it just pans out in the anime more than being like, oh,
yeah, like I'm not like, oh, I gotta see what happens next because I know the ending. But,
yeah.
but yeah, are you caught up on Beastars, which I'll be
Ah,
covering
yes.
today. And other than that, I've been playing, um, getting back into Tekken and
Mhm.
getting back into Soul Calibur 6, which
Yes.
got its season 2 update like last week or few days ago. I don't remember,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah. So being pretty busy. Okay. Toast. What about you?
Near.
Yeah.
You should run Ramiel with us.
I'm not downloading PSO2 because it's like 80 gigs now.
Fake
Should
fan,
run
fake
like
fan.
one event.
Guess you don't like Ava.
That's not true.
Yep, prove it.
Literally hate Ava.
Yeah, Near. What's your
I don't
favorite?
know. You're not proving it. Like the facts are leaning more towards not. Like,
Mm,
where's the evidence?
Yeah, Near. Have you not
All we
watched?
have right now is that you refuse to play the Ava event.
Yeah, Near. Are you telling me you haven't watched the Netflix exclusive Evangelion anime?
yeah.
Why
So.
not? Why
So
do you
what have
hate
you been
Ava?
doing, Toast?
Oh, I've been playing Azur Lane. We got Hololive collab.
Yes.
I got everyone except Aqua, cause Aqua sucks. She's apparently the most important ship collab of this one, but I don't get her. I don't have her yet. I did get Shirakami Fubuki though. That's the one I wanted.
Did you get Tokinosara?
She's
That's the other banner SSR, right?
she she's like what, a 0.5% drop, but that doesn't matter because she's an exchange prize, so everyone can get her.
Okay.
I also got who are you? Who's the one with the horns? Not Nakri.
Ayame?
I
Ayame?
got Nakri
Yeah.
Ayame. I
Yes,
got
yes.
Natsuru Matsumi. I heard she's a lesbian. That's cool.
Matsuri. I don't know about her being a lesbian, but sure. Keep going.
I heard she's dangerous. Is this true? Can you confirm?
Yes. That part is probably true. But anyways,
And
keep
yeah,
so
it's
Azur Lane.
cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Okay.
Apparently, the collab event has to do with Minecraft, but not really Minecraft. We call it the Hololive servers.
Okay. That's weird.
But they're well, you can't say Minecraft. This isn't a Minecraft collab. But it's basically their Minecraft server got isekai to Azur Lane, and Shirakami Fubuku's like, hey,
Oh, that's the background for it. Okay.
and Shirakami Fubuku's like, hey, Zuikaku and Kawakaze, you're the main characters. Is it because I oathed you? And I'm like, wait, really? So as you can tell, because Shirakami Fubuki plays Azur Lane, she's kind of the main character, and whatnot.
Okay.
And
Of like the story and the okay.
yeah. And then there's some fun references that I don't get because I don't speak Japanese, so I can't watch
Okay.
the live streams all that well. But like they mention a roller coaster and a haunted house, and a tunnel with where the dark Hololive exists. Someone subbed that a few days ago, so I understood it now. And
Okay.
it's like, gee whiz, I sure wish they could speak English like Akai Hato so I could understand what they're doing.
Hata cannot speak English. Can I correct you there? Can I just for a second like I'm sorry, like none of these motherfuckers speaking. No, there's actually one like person that speaks virtual YouTuber that speaks English, but it's like
Yeah, it's called Keys in an Eye.
no. You seem to be mistaken.
Why does she do English only videos? Just like you can't diss Akai Hato. She's trying. You see her GTA 5
Yeah,
streams? Those are great.
Akai Hata speaks English like I speak Urdu. Like let's be a little bit real.
You speak Urdu? Really?
No, that's the point.
Damn.
Because isn't Urdu the ancient Mesopotamian language, or is that Urduk, or is that ancient Mesopotamian? Near, help me out here.
No, that's not.
No.
What?
That's not how that works.
Well, this is what happens when they took down the Tower of. Wait, no. It's Sumerian, right? Yeah.
Sure.
It's also known as near what was the tribe of the Rock's character in the Scorpion King? What was it?
I don't.
What the fuck?
Nia, you're the biggest Scorpion King fan. Like, how do you not remember?
Yeah, I know all the
Akkadian,
Scorpion
yeah.
King lore.
Don't you remember, Near? He was called an Akkadian. Did you not? Do you not like the Scorpion King, the mummy?
I haven't watched the Scorpion King since I was fucking 12 years old.
You don't know your ancient cuneiforms?
Toast, please.
What am I talking about?
I don't know.
Anyways,
So yeah, Azur Lane's cool, I guess.
Yeah, Azur Lane is cool. Did you do anything else, or was it mainly like Azur Lane?
I played PSO2. Ramiel fight's pretty cool. That's the sixth angel, the giant diamond cube. What's that shape?
Yeah, it's a diamond at first.
Here, it shapeshifts.
Yeah,
It's just
see the Evangelion.
it's just like the Evangelion anime, except
Wow.
they're phantoms. So the Earth people are all like, hey Arcs, check out our Isekai. We got Evangelion, and we're like, what the heck is that? And why did you bring this angel into an Arc ship? So instead of Ramiel digging into Nerve HQ, they're digging into an Arc ship. So they're all like, we're gonna send out our AIS, which are apparently really tiny compared to the size of an Ava. That's not fair.
Yeah, it's almost like Ava's a fucking huge.
It's even bigger than Space Magatsu.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, what was that angel where Asuka and Shinji had to team up and they had to do some ballet? Was it the third?
That's
No?
the one with the the arms that like cut shit? I remember.
I don't know. I know they had to do a dance and kick and did a rider kick at the end.
Yeah, I kind of usually skim over those episodes whenever I watch Ava. Kind of cheesy.
Yeah. Anyways, Toast, you'll be talking to us a little bit about on the aforementioned Azur Lane, since we definitely did not cover that before. So,
Yeah, it's the seventh angel. Thanks, Session. You know what's up.
so check us out. Or so we'll be talking with Toast about Azur Lane and not about PSO2 a little bit later.
You know, PSO isn't there a collab with Azur Lane later? Dark.
What do you mean?
No.
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 I'm thinking of
Thinking of a different
Crosswave.
game.
Yeah.
Okay. As for me, again, I haven't been up to.
Spire, what have you been up to?
I haven't been up to too much. I watched a couple of news series. One that I'll be covering this time around. I've been a little bit doing a little bit.
Tell us about your gacha. I heard you've been pulling for something. You've been playing World Flipper?
So, God. So again, I play an Automaster game, Automaster Gacha game, Automaster Cinderella Girl Starlight Stage.
Is there a new one?
What do you mean a new one?
Wasn't there a new one coming up? Yeah.
No. So last month I had to pull for a limited banner SSRs that came up because they were in the meta and I wanted to take them, and it took me 2/3 of a spark to only get one of the 2 banner cards that I wanted, which was quite frankly ridiculous. And then now I have 30k out of 75k for spark, so that's what? That's like
Define sparks. What is this?
Spark is like 300 rolls, and then you get to choose any card from the pool that you want.
So you've done 300 rolls already? Nice.
No, not for this gacha. For I'm just comparing the amount of stuff that I have. Fuck you. But yeah, I have 30,000 jewels out of 75,000 jewels that are needed for a full spark. So that means I have 40%, 45% out of a 40% ish of a way to spark of a spark. So I mean, either way, I have to spend all of this on this month's new banner limiteds, because this month's new banner limiteds not only has another part of the meta that I need, but it also has one of the girls that I really like, Shirasaka Kome.
Who's that?
She's the fucking.
She's the one with the sleeves?
Yeah, she's the one with the slaves.
The girl that Spire didn't put in his top 5.
Fuck you. But so I have to get both of them, and now I have less than half a spark, and I'm gonna be like, oh my fucking god! If I get the same luck I did last time, I'm gonna be so angry. But yeah, I'm gonna have to pull that shit again, and it's gonna be not very nice, and I'm gonna be extremely sad, so on and so forth. Other than that, again, not too much has been going on. I've been watching a little bit of Tekken. I'm playing a little bit of Tekken.
There's a Tekken anime. I know there was a live action movie.
There's like a Yuri like doujinshi, not like a Yuri doujinshi, but like a girls doing cute things kind of club manga kind of thing that's focused on like fighting games or Tekken. But in either case, I really want to get back into reading visual novels, because again, I have a huge backlog, as I've mentioned many times on the podcast, and also Ubisoft. So Ubisoft is like one of the top like tier 1 studios for visual novels in Japan.
Is it better than Broccoli? And is it better than Type Moon?
Type Moon
hasn't made a visual novel in 10 years.
Type Moon is like sort of general, just like a multimedia production.
I don't know, man. Near. We're still waiting for the Tsukihime remake.
Yeah. Sure are.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, anyways. Fine. Is it better than Key?
Well, Key, like, okay. so it's gonna be in the news, and I'm gonna expound upon this a little bit later. But like, I think visual arts and Key Studios, or not Key Studios, but Visual Arts at least, which is the umbrella company, and Jumada, just released or is planning to release their first visual novel that they made in like 13 years or something like that in Jumada. So again, very slow pace over at Key. It's not really like Key and Visual Arts, like the general sort of company network, is less of like a visual company or a visual novel company these days, and more of like a general like we're gonna sell our name brands to different merchandise places and opportunities, and then just make free money. It's sort of like that almost. So
What has Ubisoft done that's worth noting? Do I know
uh,
any of these names?
yeah, a lot of them are very very big. So it's like I believe they did Son of a Witch, which was very very popular in Japan. Last year, the top selling visual novel in Japan was Riddle Joker, which was again made by Ubisoft.
Is that related to the Joker movie?
No, that would be really
Why?
weird. That would be really interesting, but also really weird. And then of course they also made Draki Riot,
Ah,
which has been
that's what I
translated.
know. I like that one.
Yes. So, very very top level studio on the like arguably the largest active visual novel studio. Next to August and stuff like that. So, it'll be pretty interesting to see
Spire.
that coming out. Yep.
Who would win in a fight?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Who are
Black Lilith or Ubisoft? What's the company that does Asagi and all the other good stuff?
Lilithsoft?
it's like
What is it?
Lilithsoft?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lilith Soft. Who would win?
uh, I I think for the Twitch stream to not get banned, I have to say Ubisoft. I think that's how it works, right? Here. But
But what
anyways.
are you? But what if I want to stream the time on an Asagi combat Muso
I
game?
would suggest you do
would-
it on another
Yeah,
stream.
don't do that.
Anyways,
What if it's rated only teen?
It's definitely
I
not.
don't think
All
so.
right.
there's
Good.
unfortunately so Toast actually brings up an interesting point where it's like Twitch has had like since forever pretty much like a pretty flat ban on visual novels. Not that that has stopped a lot of people from streaming it anyways, but that's the general rule. Like just rules wise, Twitch has a flat ban on the end, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
But
but timing
anyways,
but that's an action.
actually yes.
Yeah, it's a Muso game, just like what is it called?
Just
Hyrule
like
Warriors. Yeah,
Musos.
Hyrule Warriors. And
Yeah,
what is it?
you-
What is it? Persona 5 Scramble? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's pretty much that. And again, I'm gonna be covering one of the series I watched this time around. I'm gonna nerd out a little bit over it, but anyways, you just gotta play Western ones. You gotta
Well,
play
I
the
mean-
shitty like tier 2 Python ones that Nier and I and Dark used to play.
Yeah, it's like they didn't ban. I think someone streamed. What
There's
is it?
no way they banned Dream Daddy.
Yeah, they didn't ban Dream Daddy or the KFC one.
they're gonna the real tech for us is to just only stream like the gay ones because it's like you realize again
Yeah,
the
it would
largest
be bigoted if they banned us for streaming that.
yeah. We remember daily reminder that our most viewed video is still the one where we did the fucking you remember that one dear?
The
Euphoria.
busted ass like mechanic one.
Yeah, the game mechanics one.
That was such a bad visual novel, man.
I like how
Like,
the
it was
sprites
just
had the
dog shit
black
bad.
I like how the sprites had the black background when it got transitioned
Yeah.
into the other scenes. Oh my god. Anyways, that I'm just gonna be covering a little bit of a series I watched, in the upcoming for this upcoming episode, and with that, we should probably start off with Toast. I'm gonna cover a little bit of that Azur Lane for us, the anime that is.
You know what's pretty cool, Spire? Glasgow likes manga. She's pretty cool for being. She's probably my second favorite maid core. First being Belfast by default. Belfast is actually really strong. What was I talking about? Let me tell you about Azur Lane. How
Okay.
much do you guys know about China?
Not a
Uh,
lot.
not that much.
Well, don't you remember the news about Blizzard?
What about it?
It's not Chinese.
Then why are people saying, why are people saying that one phrase that I'm not gonna say?
Free Hong Kong?
You said it, not
was
me.
Okay.
You hear that? He
Okay.
said it, not me. I didn't say it. But yeah,
What's the point here, Toast?
I forgot. What does China have to do with Azur Lane again?
They made it.
Yeah.
They made it?
Thank you. All right. So let me tell you about Azur Lane.
Okay, sure. Keep going.
You know how Kantai Collection was all, hey, look at us, we're Kantai Collection, but we're also apparently extremely xenophobic. Is that the word I want to use in this?
No, you want to use imperialist or imperialistic, right?
The black ships? No.
No, that's not what.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I always mention the black ships, from Kenshin, where Hiko Seiju is all like the Hiten Mitsurugi style is akin to the black ships. Whatever side we take will win the war.
The
What the
fuck?
fuck does
I
that have
don't
to
even
do
know
with
what you're
contact
talking about.
collection,
You want to
dude?
like
Black ships, the sirens.
the abyssals?
Yeah, there you
Yes.
go.
What about them?
So people were like, "Hey, Kantai Collection, you're cool, but how come only Japanese people can play it?" And they're like, "We'll never bring it to the West.
Okay.
What Westerners will never understand it." Apparently,
The
I don't know.
imperialistic. That
Yeah.
quote about the director crying or whatever because
Yeah,
of imperialism.
and then contact collections failing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
And
very
then
unfortunate.
in 2017, what Shanghai Manju was all like, "Hey, Kantai Collection, we like what you got. Let's do. I'll let me steal." And they're all like, and then Kantai Collection is like, "Ha ha ha! I bet you won't be as popular." And then, no, lo and behold, guess which is more popular nowadays? It's Azur Lane. It's like Contact Collection, but way better in many categories. Also, this is all speculation, so I'm making this up. I'm embellishing the story, as people call it.
Okay.
What do you mean this is all made up? Like you don't know if it's more popular or not?
No, I'm making up the part where Contact Collection and Azur Lane were fighting.
Oh.
But yeah,
I mean, they kind of are competing.
The contact collection, like gameplay director has had many choice words about Azur
many
Lane.
criticisms about Azur Lane. That is true.
but yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like Contact Collection, except there's more. You got ships from around the world. You got the red axis, which is comprised of Japanese and German ships and other, I think some French ships for some reason. I don't know, they're weird. And then you got the Azur Lane, which is the America, Britain, and China, and some other stuff. And then they fight. Now, the main enemy is similar to Contact Collection, but instead of abyssals, they're sirens. And I joined Azur Lane late, so I don't have the full grasp of it, but it's something similar to Terminator 2,
What?
where
What?
there's all like in the future the sirens have destroyed all, like invaded the world and destroyed everything, and they're all like, this is boring after they killed everyone, so they went back in time and they're all like, hey losers, check out this tesseract. And then they gave them the technology to fight the sirens in the past, so they can have more fun or something like that. It's weird. There's time travel involved.
Okay.
So that's how the humanity gained its chance to fight back. They incorporated small parts of siren technology to build warships, ship girls, and whatnot. And so in the anime, the main character is Enterprise. You know, like the
Yeah, so,
starship.
so that's sort of what what I was pretty curious about. It's like, how is the point of view and everything like handled?
It's kind of weird. You know how in I mean, you know how in the Kantai Collection anime, the main character was Fubuki?
Yes.
Fubuki, Yudachi, and Mutsuki? Yeah, Mutsuki. Oh shit, let me put up the picture.
I mean, yeah, it was
Oops.
generally centered around whoever was around Fubuki at the time, right?
But in this, and then like you had a flagship Nagatoad being the flagship, you know, the best character. This one, it's kind of reversed in a way, but definitely the main story revolves around Enterprise. If you don't
Okay.
know who Enterprise is, it's the USS Enterprise, the Gray Ghost, basically the most decorated ship of World War II. Look it up. She's pretty cool. The Gray Ghost. She fought in World War II and whatever. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
pretty much
history
all the
behind it.
ships fought in World War II.
She's, you know, the strongest ship ever, apparently. I mean, she's one carrier, and she fights Akagi and Kaga and Zuikaku and Shokaku like the same time. And I'm like, that's two against one carrier style. That's not fair. You guys suck if you can't beat her. But yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
So
you know how, so she's all like war never changes. I'm tired of fighting. And then Queen Elizabeth's all like, hey, stop that. You're becoming a soulless war machine. So she's all like, "Hey, Belfast, your new mission is to make Enterprise more human again because
yeah.
if she pushes because she's pushing herself too hard, and if she falls, that's we can't let that happen. She's the best ship." And Belfast is all like, "All right, but
Okay. So
Dark, hit me up with some Irish slang. How do you say okay?" Or
all right, wait, Toast. Okay.
What
So
the
can you
fuck?
can
How
you
the fuck am I supposed to
what
know
what
that?
what's the Irish? What's is it? Bob's your uncle? No.
Dude, I don't know anything about fucking Irish slang.
Me neither. Anyway, but yeah, that's one like I guess main story.
isn't Dark's ancestry Italian? Why did you
No,
ask?
it's Irish
It's
too,
Irish.
but
Okay.
So
I don't
yeah,
know
you
jack
have
shit about that.
you have Belfast trying to make Enterprise more human again, so she doesn't lose herself in battle. And then on the other side, you got Ayanami and Javelin being like, "Hey, this is cool." And then they meet Ayanami, who's on the other side, and they're all like, "What?" And they're all like, "Why are we fighting? We're supposed to be fighting against the Sirens." And Ayanami's like, "I don't know why. Like,
Fuck.
I'm
Okay.
just here to fight." Then Laffy's all like, "Hey man, I want to be friends with you," and she's all like, "Oh, I gotta go." And there's them fighting and not fighting. There's a sub story slash other main story of Ayanami and Javelin trying to make Javelin and Laffy trying to make friends with Ayanami because in the Japanese server, the three starter ships are Ayanami, Javelin, and Laffy, which is unfortunate because the starter ships in like the English version are Z23, Javelin, and Laffy. So as an English player, I'm upset that there's not enough Z23 going around. She's only showed up like once or twice.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit more about the anime, Toast? Like, can you summarize it a little bit here?
I mean,
So it's a lot.
it's
A lot.
kind of hard to say. It's 8 episodes in. I still kind of don't know what's happening.
Is it a lot like? I mean, from what you described, a lot of it seems pretty like battle slash.
Well, it's definitely more. There's a lot more it's more battle oriented than a Kantai Collection, where Kantai Collections the Kantai Collections was mostly we're gonna have battles that reenacted actual World War II battles. And this one, it's more like the other story is the Sakura Empire and the Iron Bloods. That's the Japanese and Germans. They're doing something funky, Because in the past, everyone was united to fight the Sirens, but now the Axis have defected and have incorporated Siren technology into their own stuff to fight Azur Lane, apparently.
What the fuck?
It's something like they have two opposing beliefs, where Azur Lane's all like, we're gonna fight the Sirens while being ourselves, and the Axis are like, we're gonna incorporate Siren technology and overpower the Sirens and show them our power. So if you're not with us, you're against us. So that's why they're fighting right now. And then there's this story of Akagi and Kaga doing something with Siren technology to resurrect their sister, which everyone knows is a Magi. So they're playing with black mental cubes provided by like the Sirens themselves
Hmm.
to shake things up a bit, like to the Sirens, because they time travel. This is all just a game to them, a simulation. We're like, we already destroyed the world, so show us something interesting. They don't really care what happens at the end as long as it's interesting.
So a lot of it's like it's taking itself pretty seriously, right?
It's pretty
From what
serious.
I'm hearing.
There's
Yeah.
like compared to Contact Collection, there's an actual story involved.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I could definitely explain it better if I played Azur Lane from the beginning, because from what I can tell, they're covering some pretty major events where something involving Nagato and Operation Orochi. It's to get stronger and whatnot. And then there's some defections. It's pretty cool, but for in the anime, it's kind of, I'm still confused on what's happening.
Okay.
There's a shot of there's a flash forward to the future in several parts where there's one powerful ship and everyone knows who it is because they keep hyping her up as, oh, we can't lose you and whatnot, and she's the last survivor of the war. And then some stuff happens and whatnot. But yeah.
Yes. So overall,
Overall,
I
the
mean-
story is cool, I guess. I'd get it. I'd definitely understand more if I played the game from the beginning. That's my gripe about it. But it's not bad.
so if somebody was like literally just getting into Azur Lane day one, like let's say today he was getting into Azur Lane, and then at the same time he was like, should I watch the anime or something? How would you respond?
Do you want me to bring in the collab into this or not? No, because if you went in day one with the collab, it'd be like, who's this? What does this have to do with Azur Lane?
without considering the collab? Without considering the collab.
I don't know. There's a huge chunk of story missing because, this takes place. Like I said, this has to do with prior events. So, like, there's a story in the game. There's a story. You got this event that leads to this event and whatnot. So if you're definitely going to be confused from the get-go. It's not. I mean, you can go into Azur Lane's like, hey, I want to collect this shit. That's cool. But events are where there's a lot of story going on, and if
Okay,
you
but
missed
does
it,
the anime actually cover that story?
yeah, just to a degree, but not, at the same time, not. It's different.
How much deviation? So there's
Well, okay,
anime original stuff, right?
I
But the core is the
guess, yeah. The core is definitely the events that happen in the game.
okay.
I mean,
So-
I wish I could tell you the specifics, but I don't think I can.
Yeah, I think there's still a little bit.
There's
of confusion,
definitely
but-
some part where
But there's also probably a lot of truncation and like a little bit of variance going on because they want to kind of close it out. Obviously, close it out within the anime season, right?
it's confusing, but like to boil it down, it's all like Kage and Kaga are doing something with the sirens, and none of the other soccer ships know like what they're doing. They're pretty suspicious. They're all like, why does a Kage and Kaga have mass-produced siren ships? Why can't she float in the air? What's with this giant fox thing that appeared? And they're all like, the heck are you doing? They're all like, shut up, we got this. So they're
Okay.
pretty suspicious, and they
Alright.
almost killed Akashi because Kashi saw Kaga and Kagi talking to the sirens. They're like, "Hey, man, that's bad news. That's the enemy, and they're all like, "Shut up."
Okay.
Yeah. So Akagi and Kaga are up to no good. Everyone's suspicious, but since they're soccer ships, they gotta support their flagship.
Okay.
So the seeds of dissent are sowing now in episode 8. Why
Okay.
not?
Hopefully it'll pan itself out a little
I
bit
don't.
better.
I don't know. It's episode 8. I'm still confused on what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a little bit unfortunate, but oh well.
Well, what else do I gotta say?
Any last words here?
Well, apparently, you know how with the God Eater anime, it was pretty rocky near.
Yeah,
Well, there's some
say that.
there's some there's some fingers dipped into some sinister soups happening here. Probably because it's Chinese, but apparently there's some problems happening with what's the studio that does this? Billy? No?
No, it's Biburi Animation Studios.
Yeah, those guys.
Right. Wasn't it like a studio that like was just pretty much created just
They
before?
definitely don't have any experience doing a weekly anime like this. I
Yeah.
can tell.
They worked on the Grisaya Phantom Trigger, the animation.
Yeah, and then they turned it to like a full like multimedia project or whatever,
Yeah.
multimedia studio or whatever it was, and then they started Azur Lane. I think
And
that
it's
was.
I mean this is mostly speculation and rumors, but YoStar didn't have much of a choice in the matter. They couldn't get the good studios because most of the good studios are affiliated with Kadokawa, and
Okay.
Kadokawa really doesn't like Azur Lane. I don't know why. Is
Oh.
it because it's Chinese or it's too close to Contact Collection?
I think it's more the latter, but pretty obviously the latter. But anyways,
And there, what else is there? There's a lot of controversy surrounding Azur Lane in general.
mhm.
I mean, in China, any mention of Japanese ships is censored and or just glossed over. And
Yeah.
where not even the Japanese ships, let's call them. Let's take for example Ayanami. They don't call her Ayanami. Her code name is Yuzu. Because you can't talk about Japanese ships at all, and any mention of the Japanese flag on the ships, it's replaced. The rising sun, it's replaced with a white circle.
Yeah. Well, you mean the modern Japanese flag instead of the old Japanese flag, which is again very different connotations. But
so they're like, who are these mysterious Japanese-looking ships but are not Japanese? And I mean that's a China problem. Everyone else is like, well, we know.
Yeah, it's a very. I mean, it's a pretty unfortunate situation.
There's also, I mean, there's also more recent news with episode 8, where the anime might be taking a break for a couple of months because there's problems with the studio.
No.
And the animators.
That's that's a little bit sketchy, but okay.
Byberry's doing a recruitment for like, hey, we need more animators, like right now.
That's an even better sign.
That's a very unfortunate sign, but yeah.
There was like even on the current episode 8, one of the animators that did episode 8, I talked about this with you earlier, where they're all like, he did a live stream criticized the anime. It was where he said something like, he criticized the anime. There's a video of it. They tried to take it down, but it's the internet. You can find anything. He was all like, he was something like, I didn't fully try because, I'm not getting paid enough or whatnot. This is just a low budget anime. It won't be popular. So I'm gonna cut corners and whatnot.
No, okay.
And then he said he said something akin to, "This is below me. You know, this is just a side job. I'll half-ass it because I got the real stuff. You know, I'm working on the real good stuff like fake Grand Order."
Well, that's if that's true, that's a very
Yeah,
interesting
he's
way to
working on
go
the fake
public
Grand Order
about it.
movie, and that's
If
where I'm gonna
that's
get my
true,
big time.
probably not for long.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably if that's an actual thing, he's probably going to be fired pretty soon. But
You know,
yeah, very unfortunate.
it has to do with money. Fate Grand Order, the movie, a Camelot movie, will obviously pay better than the Azur Lane anime. So,
Yeah. Oh.
you know, a lot of this stuff,
Hmm.
I
Very
mean,
unfortunate.
you can tell. Episode 1 and 2 look nice, but then the animation quality started to drop really, really hard. All the way up to episode 6. Episode 6 was the bath scene.
Well, it's a very unfortunate, but you know, it's kind of expected a little bit more of a warm welcoming just because of all the money it had and obviously the popularity it gains in Japan as well. But unfortunate, but it is what it is. So, thank you, Toast, for helping us cover Azur Lane.
Yeah, should you watch it? Yeah, watch it.
It's okay, I guess.
I mean, there's a better story, more characters that make sense than more characters and motives than Contact Collection, which follows the World War II to a T,
Mhm.
and that was pretty upsetting, especially in that final episode where they just starting throwing what's the word, Deus Ex Machinas into the mix.
Yeah, the resolution for Content Collection definitely wasn't great. But anyway,
yeah, the fights are cool. You got you got you got ships doing cool things. In Contact Collection, they're just shooting their guns and like they're CG and okay. But in Azur Lane, you got Ayanam, who's got a sword, so she can cut planes in half and torpedoes. Takao's got a sword too. For some reason, Zuikaku doesn't launch planes. She infuses the planes into her sword, so she's also a melee fighter, but she's a carrier. You got Enterprise riding her planes and shooting a bow. That was cool. I'm like, it doesn't make sense, but you know what? It looks cool.
Okay.
Then you got Unicorn. Apparently, her unicorn is a actual living creature, so she rides the unicorn in the battle, and I'm like, wait, what? But that's cool.
All right. Well, anyways,
Also,
thank you.
shout outs to
Toast, please.
the 5 to
Wrap it
10
up.
seconds of Honolulu that was in episode 6, and she hasn't appeared again, and I'm upset. But yeah,
I mean, whatever. Anyways, thank you, Toast, for helping cover Azur Lane. And also its many mishaps coming up. Hopefully, not for too long. But
it's a shame because
anyways.
this, it's just because they're Chinese doesn't mean they can make good stuff. It's good.
I mean,
The multimedia verse of Azur Lane's good.
I mean, I don't think the reasons that were necessarily that it was Chinese. It was just probably just set of factors kind of coming together all at the wrong time for it. Very unfortunate.
Blame Katakawa.
Anyways, with that, we are done with Azur Lane, and we will be moving on to Dark. What do you have for us today?
So I watched a show called Babylon. And I'm gonna have to split this up into 2 different parts essentially.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start by giving a very, very basic rundown with literally 0 detail whatsoever, and then go into stuff like audio visuals and technical stuff. And then after that, I'll give slight spoiler.
Who is the Babylon? Is this related to Babylonia?
No, but I'm not gonna get into that yet because you may as well watch the show and find out later on. So yeah, the show, its beginning premise is that there's a newly formed district of Tokyo, though it doesn't seem like, I don't think it's an actual district of Tokyo. I think it's a new city in general that's supposed to rival Tokyo called Shiniki. And the main character is a police officer / detective in the city, and he's he's a public prosecutor. So basically, it starts out with him and his partner investigating fraud in like a pharmaceutical company, and then they kind of start uncovering like a really weird, grim mystery from there. So with that, I'm just gonna get into this is being done by a pretty new studio. They're called Revoroot, and by pretty new I mean they've done 3 things.
Okay.
They've assisted with Fooly Cooly Alternative. They're doing
Okay.
Babylon, and they did a music like something called Deep Blue Song,
Right.
and it must have been an O&A or something. But yeah, so the audio visuals start out like they're pretty whack at times. They're kind of like on the Mappa level of like scuffed in some situations, but the CG is also like really bad. Like it has
What do you
really,
mean?
really bad CG. Like the cars are horribly blended and just like really basic and don't look good at all. Uh
So is it just the CG or is it like the rest of the art too, or what?
uh some parts of it, like the backgrounds get a little scuffed when there's CG incorporated into it, so it's primarily the CG that's the problem. But they do
Mhm.
the thing like at points like what was that show especially? Was it Tsukigakure? Is that what it was? Where like characters in the distance are CG. It just looks weird. Was that which one did that?
It's pretty common these
I
days in
think so.
general.
But yeah, but it's not very well blended, so it looks pretty whack at times. However, the character art itself is pretty good. I like that quite a bit. And I would say the highlight for the series is definitely the directing, because it's got a lot of really cool shots, a lot of really cool um, like timings on the way it cuts to different things and effects. Um, and so I would definitely say check it out just based on that because it'll probably hook you within the first couple of episodes. I was talking near about one specific thing during a interrogation. The main character is interrogating a woman, and when she's giving the interrogation itself is both has like different lighting and different color palettes, a lot cooler of a color palette, and it also has letterboxing. And when he's questioning her, it's just in the interrogation room. But when she's recounting the story, it's giving essentially the scene of what was happening, of what he's interrogating her on, and she's responding in that, like from that scene.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, she was at an onsen, and she's responding while essentially doing what she was saying, what was going on in the onsen.
Okay. Okay.
And it's also in a like completely different art style for character design and everything. Like it turns into what I think is like 90s ish looking stuff. So that was really weird and really cool. But it does do quite a bit of things like that. Not so much style changes, but a lot of uh, very like thought out, more elaborate directing.
Like tonal kind of thing almost.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and I'm not going to get into spoilers with that. But now
Okay.
here come the spoiler. So if you don't want to be spoiled, and I don't think you should want to be even this much, but we're gonna have to
Yeah,
for
skip
this
for like a
anyway.
minute or so.
Yeah, skip like I'm only gonna give this
Skip
a
for a couple
minute.
minutes.
This is gonna
Yeah.
be really
A minute.
quick because
Yeah.
even this spoilers essentially are gonna be very minor. Like I'm fully caught up now, but I'm not gonna get too far into it.
Okay.
All right, so a minute starting now. So basically, it's called Babylon because the actual story seems to be that there's the woman he was interviewing is like an evil, literally like the Antichrist, the whore of Babylon.
Mhm.
and she's somehow able to make people kill themselves. Like she
Like-
convinces them within like seconds, and just like destroys their mind. So I don't really
She
know what's
like a
going on
ghost?
with that. No, I don't know yet. Like that's the thing. Even by episode 7, it's like I assume it's either going to get into a drug or something like that, and whatnot. So it's
mean-
getting really interesting and kind of weird. I only gave myself a minute to do this, but I'm going to extend that. But yeah, so it's like it's bizarre because she can definitely no, that's not what it is, Session. Like it's doesn't matter who they are. The moment they come in contact with her, they're convinced.
So like a mysterious virus in a way?
It's weird. I'm thinking it's going to tie back to the drug, but they also could go actual like full on what's it called with it?
Supernatural?
Yeah, supernatural. So
That's fine.
yeah, it's very odd. That I'm trying to think of what I would say the runaround from the beginning was kind of my only like gripe with it is that it does very much front load. So like this isn't even really spoilers at this point, but it does very much front load the story in a way. Like it gives you a lot of different things that they get into. So I would say that that's my only real complaint. But overall, the series has been pretty damn good. I'm curious to see where it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also the other issue is that it could just completely fucking fall on its face. Because it does get pretty silly. Like you have to suspend your disbelief quite a bit,
Right, right.
and just kind of take things for what they are, like at face value, and then it kind of becomes a bit more interesting.
So who are the Babylons? Are they some sort of secret detective force?
I already explained that. I'm not going to do it again,
They're not detective
just
force?
because that's something that people who are watching can figure out.
Okay. So I guess any last words on the series, or
It's pretty good. I'm curious. I really would like to see this director do more stuff with a higher budget at this point, or like a I don't want to say I don't know a better studio or whatever, but
Mhm.
I would just like to see him do even more stuff at this point. Because what else has he done? He's done this. He's done Fully Coolly Alternative. He's done.
Was that good? I never watched that.
That was the better
It's
one
okay.
according.
Was that the new
He
one?
has done Gotcha Man
Yes.
Crowd's Insight as the assistant director.
Mm.
He was
Is
the
that season
director
2?
of Infinity Force.
I was like, that's really
Here's a bad one. He was the director of Psychopaths 2.
Ha ha
Uh,
ha.
Mm.
So yeah, so it's a mixed bag, right? It's pretty bizarre in that sense. So I want to see what else this guy's got, you know? Because this is
Right.
cool. Yeah, it's definitely cool. It's got me somewhat hooked. I would recommend it if you definitely. I'd recommend it not so much if you want like that much of a mystery, but more so of like really suspense thriller. It's not really mystery. Like it's mystery in the sense like I was explaining earlier. Like I kind of still don't know what's causing things,
But it's more of like a supernatural kind
but
of
you
like
know
thriller.
who's doing it. So it's
Right.
like it's much more thriller and
Yeah,
like
it's a little bit
dread
more
than it
supernatural
is.
thriller with like a tint of like mystery kind of thing going on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it's no
Or
mystery as to
slow
what.
slow exposition rather.
Yeah, it's no mystery as to what's going on. It's just kind
Mhm.
of a mystery as to how and why,
Right, exactly.
and who I have no idea if they're even really going to answer that.
Right.
But the directing is really fucking cool. So
Okay. I guess again, thank you for covering Babylon. I know again it was one of like the big sort of like mystery quote unquote slash like supernatural series that people were talking about. So
What's
definitely.
yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on it for that reason because it's
Mhm.
like
what's your
I
what's your
enjoyed it, so I would
Mhm.
hope other people can too.
What's your
Right,
prediction for the ending, Dark? Will it be demons? Will it be magic? Or will it be ghosts?
I think it's all going to tie back into the drugs from the beginning, but it could also just actually be supernatural. So
Do you think it'll have to do with language, just like Metal Gear
no,
Solid
because
5?
that's not what
That's so
Babylon is. That again, for like the 30th fucking time, that's Babel, not Babylon.
I like how Toad's just like didn't listen to anything. Anyways,
So
thank you for
what if it's damn it, what are they called again?
What if it's a
What?
vocal cord
Yeah,
parasite?
there you go. Thank you. Vocal cord parasite.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
pretty
quite
sure
that.
Kojima is the only person who's
Exhumed
actually
by Mother Harlot.
stupid enough to write in vocal cord parasites into a story.
What are you talking about? He's a genius.
Central part of the story.
He's an avant-garde. No one has ever done this before, Nier. That's what makes him so good.
Yes. Anyways, thank you for covering Babylon. And we are moving on to, I guess, me here. And I'm going to be covering Kabukichou Sherlock.
So what,
So,
you're going from one mystery, Mother Harlot, to another mystery.
yes, in a sense. So Kabukichou Sherlock, or I believe in localization, it's called case file number 221, Kabukicho. So 221 Baker Street is like where
Oh, neat.
221B, sorry, Baker Street is where Sherlock Holmes lives. So that's, I guess, how the
Oh,
localization guys put it.
I get it. That's smart.
Kabukicho is a district in Shinjuku, Tokyo, in the Tokyo sort of area of Japan. Shinjuku, as some people might know, is a general sort of like activity where like a lot of sort of young people go to
It's the red light
spend the
district.
night messing around, stuff like that. And within Shinjuku, it's Kabukicho especially is a entertainment and red light district. So
Yep.
hostess clubs, love hotels, stuff to do at the night during the night, right? So this is set in there, and it's a very sort of like, it's not like a film noir kind of thing, but it's like it's sort of seen as a very like things are going on all the time, like sort of no, dirty sort of under the rug kind of stuff is going there all the time, and that's sort of how the background is set up. As for the rest of this, it's the basic premise is that there are a set of characters in the Kabukicho district that are acting as detectives, acting as part of the police force, blah blah, and they're all incidentally named after famous characters in Sherlock Holmes. In the Sherlock Holmes sort of world, or in the original Sherlock Holmes, or close to it. So you'll have Sherlock Holmes, you'll have Watson, you'll have James Moriarty, you'll have Lestrade being part of the police force, so on and so forth.
Are
you'll
they
have
all
these-
Japanese men?
Yes, they're actually all Japanese men, which is kind of weird.
No one's a girl yet.
There's Mary Morstan, who later in the original Sherlock Holmes, she becomes John Watson's wife. But that's the girl.
So it's not like Hida no Arya where everyone's turned into a girl because they're descendants.
No, it's not like that. It's like pretty much everybody's like a regular sort of like the same gender as they would be in the original Sherlock Holmes, but they're all in Japan. It's a retelling, or it's just, hey, we're named after this by coincidence. So no, it's not a retelling. It's so how it is. It's there is supposed to, so it's sort of set in media res, where it's like there's a series of murders going on by a thief or by a murderer calling themselves Jack the Ripper, and they have to find the criminal, and along the way they solve other mysteries, right? So there's like a central mystery, but then along the way there's like sort of mini episodes or mini arcs of like different mysteries going on. So that's sort of how it goes. As for the characters themselves, they are essentially reflections, or they're sort of like light versions of, again, the original Sherlock Holmes characters. So the writer clearly read some Sherlock Holmes and kind of made his own mystery, but kind of put his spin on a modern Sherlock Holmes living in Kabukicho solving mysteries or whatever.
Does he have the famous line?
It's elementary, my dear.
Yeah, does he say it?
No. Yeah, he sort of made his own fanfiction. It says it says puts it relatively correctly. So it's I want to preface this just before first of all, this is made by Production IG. The audiovisuals aren't anything to write about. The weird thing is, if you look at the ANN page for Kabukichou Sherlock, there are a lot of contractors or assistant production studios, but they all start during like the 4th to like 8th episodes. So I kind of like took a little bit of a look at during that time, and there's a little bit of a sort of like shaky, visuals here and there, but nothing really serious.
It's probably just Production IG being like, we need to meet this deadline.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Production IG had the handle for like 4 episodes apparently, and then they just like started hiring like everybody to come in for like episode 4 through like 8 or something. It was really
that makes
weird.
sense.
Yeah.
Where they're like, like Session said, no one wanted to handle this for more than a couple episodes.
No. There was like a whole bunch of episodes, a whole bunch of studios handling it from like episodes 4 through 8. It was just that they didn't really appear until those episodes. So
Yeah.
that's sort of how that worked. So nothing really, big to write home about. It's I don't know what else to say. It's not like Lagrange or anything like that. But yeah, jumping right into the story again, all the characters are sort of like, I guess if you want to put it as way, it's like a fan fiction-ish or like a spin-off of what the original characters were. And again, I want to preface this by saying that I read a lot of Sherlock Holmes when I was young, so I kind of, like as I was going through this, I took like some notes on this.
That makes sense.
This is a comedy, right?
There are comedic elements in it, but for the most part, it's pretty straight like mystery kind of stuff.
Okay.
So like,
Yeah.
what mysteries do they go
'Cause
through?
Mal lists this as a comedy, and the director is the director behind like Oregairu.
Okay. Is it like it's not Onu Mashin? It's who is it?
It's Yoshimura Ai.
Yes. Yoshimura Ai.
So they've worked on stuff like Danshi Kokusei,
Yeah,
Nichijou.
he has there's definitely a little bit of humor here and there. I don't think it's not like the type where I'm just like, oh haha, it's so funny or anything like that, but it's like definitely like a light chuckle here and there. Again, a lot of the material I think is pretty focused on kind of whipping through the mini mysteries, the mini episodes and stuff like that, or the mini arcs rather, and kind of getting on with it. So that's sort of what it is. So making some comparisons on this Sherlock versus the real Sherlock, I guess.
Do they cover like the other Sherlock Holmes books? Like, what is it? The Count of Monte Cristo? Is that one?
That is not a Sherlock Holmes mystery. Count of Monte Cristo is not a Sherlock Holmes.
Not even in that.
Which one is like the Lady of Versailles? Is that Sherlock Holmes?
What the fuck are you talking about? No,
Oh?
I think if you're talking about individual books, I think you're talking about stuff like the Sign of Four and like
Yeah.
the pips and stuff. I forget the full name for it, but it's like the orange pips or whatever. But anyways,
Was Lupin the third part of Sherlock Holmes? I don't think he was.
what
No?
the fuck are you talking about?
What are you talking
Just
about, man?
every mystery investigator.
Is it,
No,
wasn't Zenigata like related to Sherlock Holmes or something? Or am I making this up? Was that the movie? I think that might have been the movie.
I think it is.
I can guarantee you with 100% certainty that the Sherlock Holmes books do not reference Lupin III.
I don't know. I don't believe that.
Should have they referenced Doraemon and said, "What?" Like Doraemon's just flying through. during the Side 4.
Who's the one that wrote what is it? And Then There Were None. Was that also a Sherlock Holmes book?
No.
No, that's Agatha Christie. Whoops.
All right. Anyways, can I go on?
Yeah.
So
I don't know my Sherlock Holmes. I only remember Conan.
So a little bit of comparison here because obviously, again, the writer kind of wanted to put his spin on it. The first thing I do want to point out, and this is not necessarily a criticism of this series specifically, but it's like kind of what's been going on. It's like with the BBC Sherlock 2, right? Like they kind of portray Sherlock as this like very like sort of autistic character, right?
Really?
To put it essentially, right, where it's like he's like good at solving mysteries, but like everywhere else he's like super
he's,
awkward
like-
and everybody's cringing at him. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Again,
Socially inept.
yeah, and I don't in the original books I don't think that necessarily was the case. He was aloof and he was like I don't want to be around you people, but he wasn't like autistic. So I think that's like a thing that's a little bit more just like a modern variant on Sherlock that he got kind of confused or not confused, but he was kind of swept up by it, right? Because it's like that's sort of how again modern variants of Sherlock often come across as like he's an autistic savant essentially. The relationship they had, it was this was almost like caricaturistic, but the relationship between the Scotland Yard detectives, like and like the police force, right, like Lestrade and stuff like that, and Sherlock were portrayed pretty accurately. They were like antagonistic, and then like Lestrade is playing sort of the clown, and he's like going around and prematurely like accusing people of doing X, Y, Z, blah blah, and then Sherlock kind of finds out and so on and so forth. So I think that part was pretty accurate, but I mean, again, that sort of thing has been like a very big staple of Sherlock Holmes for the longest time. A really weird thing, not a weird thing, but I guess let me start with this. So, well, okay, let me come to my points. I think there's also, and again, this is not necessarily this series about Sherlock Holmes, but it's like in general with a lot of series these days about like the dingy places in Japan or like cyberpunk stuff. It's always like the world is so like depicted as being super harsh, and what I mean by that is like it's always like, oh, somebody bumps into you on the side of the street, he's a pickpocket. Like a kid offers you candy, like those are fucking drugs. Like it's like a rape. It's like a date rape drug, so she can like steal your wallet. It's like there's like throughout this series, and again, it's not just this series, but a lot of other series. There's always this thing where it's like every motherfucker on the street wants to fucking shank you, and I'm not sure if I appreciate that sort of atmosphere these days. Not just because it's like it's not even related necessarily to being depressing. It's just like I think that's a little bit like unrealistic. Like the pacing is a little bit unrealistic, and it's like it kind of reminds me of the Jim Jeffries skit about guns, where it's like it's like I need my gun to be safe. It's like how many enemies do you have? like what is going on? So I think it's a little bit on the nose these days when worlds always depict like that shadow lurking around the corner. He wants to fucking rob you and fucking beat you up, like stuff like that. I don't think that's necessarily needed. Obviously, an interesting thing that is in the title, Kabukichou. So it's like what they depicted Sherlock as was Sherlock wants to be a Rakugo actor or wanted to be a Rakugo actor but failed, or a Rakugo performer. But so Rakugo is like it's like essentially like a one man sort of play slash like skit kind of thing, right? They have Japanese do for entertainment, and in the series they use this Rakugo, this like one man skit kind of thing, to explain the monologue, explain any sort of like if So it's an interesting way of putting it. It's almost like a crutch, not like a crutch, but it's like an easy access kind of thing to Sherlock Holmes, where it's like whenever the author or writer kind of wants to expose a monologue or a thought train or whatever that Sherlock Holmes has, he explains it via the Rakugo skit. So he gets down into Rakugo skit and then he like describes his train of thought. So that's a pretty interesting way to do it.
Is it like visual Rakugo, like an actual Rakugo performance?
He literally sits down and then like the background like becomes like all bloomy and like bright, and he actually does like the Rakugo skit.
That's
explaining
cool.
the
I like
training.
that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I do think it's easy access, and it's an interesting way to do it. I wouldn't say it's like super bad or anything like that, or I think it's pretty interesting. Whatever. One thing I do want to point out is that doing this obviously sort of minimizes Watson's position in the story, and a lot of that minimization does go on, and I'm not sure. Well, I mean, Watson's position is slightly minimal at the beginning of Sherlock Holmes 2, but it is a very sort of like a lot of it does still have Watson going along and being the observer and kind of tagging along and getting caught in the action and doing all this stuff, right? In a sense that reminds you that Watson is the main character in the original Sherlock, right?
Yeah.
So having Sherlock Holmes kind of just do everything, right? I think is kind of unfortunate for the role of Watson in this specific Sherlock variant, but it is what it is. So that was an interesting thing that I want to point out. And then there was also so one last thing I wanted to point out was, so this is also, I would say, I don't know if it's necessarily like splitting hairs or not, or where this sort of difference came from, but this series is kind of built on, so it explains the world, it narrates the world, right? And then you have Sherlock as one of the characters, and he's as Sherlock and Watson and some of the other characters as the characters, and they're kind of operating in this world, and Sherlock is the hero, right? That saves the day, right? So that's, in my opinion, it is a general world building point of view, if that makes sense. So it's like you build the world, and then Sherlock is, a hero, and he does a lot of things that moves the levers of society, right, or of the mystery. Whereas I feel like the original Arthur Conan Doyle books are a very Sherlock-focused point of view. That is, the world is kind of like out there. It's like London. You're like, yeah, it's Elizabethan London or whatever era London, and it's like you kind of know what the hell is going on. And then, Victorian London, right? Victorian era London, and then you kind of, a lot of the story is just kind of like Sherlock, right? It's like because the observer is Watson, Sherlock, that he's always watching behind. Yeah, exactly what Saskia said. Like all you need to know is like outside the shit, and it's like Sherlock's kind of going out there in his trench coat in the rain to solve it, and the point of view is specifically you're almost always watching Sherlock Holmes back. You're like for 10 minutes, like in the books, you can almost kind of feel the silence as it's like Sherlock Holmes kind of like mumbling to himself, kind of wandering around, boom, boom. You're watching Sherlock, and then he gets up and he's like, okay, come with me. And you go to another place, and then eventually later on you solve the mystery. But it's very focused around whatever Sherlock and Watson is doing at the time, if that makes sense. Now, the world is like of secondary importance. But this is not that sort of series. So that was a little bit interesting to me. There are multiple reasons why this could be obviously, pretty standard writing, like convention, like fair, sort of, not necessarily, I wouldn't say not necessarily doing enough research, but just being like, well, the writer just assuming like, oh, well, I mean, Sherlock is just a character in this world, right? And he's the hero, and sort of taking that perspective. And obviously, to kind of fast forward how the mystery and how the developments pan out to the viewer's eyes, they have to show the other characters kind of secretly doing stuff or the other characters being like, I'm gonna take action, boom, 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 boom. Whereas if you have a book, write them with the andere, that would be pretty fucked up. Also, it'd be pretty cool. But in the original books, a lot of the reason why the mysteries took so long was because Watson had to chronicle, or like Watson and Sherlock had to run around everywhere, and they had to chronicle everything sort of first and second hand, right? Or first and second person, right? So that took a while. And obviously it can't take a while in the anime, so I guess that's part of why they did it. But I believe that does create this sort of contrast, right? And this difference in tone, where it's like Sherlock in a world is just kind of like a mystery solver. But it's like Sherlock in a Sherlock-focused world is much more of like a chronicle. It's almost like a biography in a sense, right? So I think that sort of thing, contrast is pretty interesting. And along that line, where this anime creates more of a world-building perspective, is that it kind of brings the gang together too fast. Like everybody's just like in the first, I want to say 2, maybe 3 episodes. No, 2 episodes tops. Like everybody's there. Like obviously, again, the Scotland Yard gang is there. Mary Morstan is there. John Watson's wife or whatever. James Moriarty is like one of like Sherlock Holmes' former roommates for some reason. Like what the hell is going on? And like all this other stuff. Like I think they're already setting up like Mycroft to be showing up pretty soon, and it's like very, very, very like everybody's already in, because it's sort of building that world, and then Sherlock solving mysteries in that world. So I don't think I mean I understand to a certain extent why it's happening, but I feel like at least the character introduction and sort of pacing Sherlock into the mystery, it's a little bit too rapid. I would like a little bit more sort of like, even if it detracts a little bit from how the mystery is, I would like a little bit more focus on who Sherlock is and so on and so forth, to kind of replicate the similar tone, the similar sort of the vibe that Sherlock had in the Arthur Conan Doyle novels. But again, that's just my point of view. But those are the contrasts that I saw. It was pretty interesting. I thought, again, some of the mechanics I mentioned, again, doing the Rakugo stuff, right, to explain how the train of thought works, kind of setting it in a harsher world and kind of having Watson and Sherlock kind of bump around is also kind of interesting. But other than that, it was a pretty standard variant, I say. It's still pretty interesting. I suggest you guys check it out if you guys are, Sherlock Holmes fans. Pretty interesting variant, but I do think it deviates from the tone of what Sherlock was pretty significantly. Like even more than like say the BBC version, or like I want to say like the action movie that was Robert Downey Jr.'s movie series, right? So I do think it varies a decent amount. So check it out if you're interested. But yeah, that was my review for Kabukichou Sherlock. Do you guys have any questions?
So these are regular dudes, right?
Yeah, they're regular dudes.
So they would lose to servant Sherlock Holmes, right?
Yes, they'll lose to FTO
human
servants.
beings would indeed lose to servants.
Any other questions?
Who's that one chick in Hida no Aria that was a based off of Lupin?
Wait, who is the Hida no Aria chick?
There was a Hida no Aria chick who had the name Lupin.
Oh,
wasn't
it
she?
was Rico, right? Rico.
Yeah. How would she win? Would she win?
What do you mean win?
Right?
There was no. They're all part of a harem in that series. There's no winning anything.
I mean, if
May you win their heart.
If you pit
Sorry,
if you
go
pit
man.
Rico Mina in a fight versus this Sherlock, she'd win, right?
Yes, because that Rico has fucking like superpowers and shit. Like she's like a shooter and like a fighter or something. I don't know.
Okay. So, how powerful is this Sherlock guy?
He's not.
He's a
He's
man.
just a regular detective.
Could he have found out who the Phantom Thieves of Hearts are?
Probably yes, because that had nothing to do with superpowers.
Who's the guy?
Where are we
It's not
going with this?
Adachi. Adachi's P4, right? What's that guy's
Yes.
name
Yes.
with Robin Hood?
Fuck, Pancake
Akechi?
guy?
Akechi?
Yeah, Kechigoro.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is he as good as Akechigoro? Or Conan?
Well,
Conan?
To be
Conan
fair,
O'Brien?
Conan O'Brien.
Akechi was honestly not a very good detective. So
Yeah.
And what about the guy from Case Closed? Conan O'Brien? Is it O'Brien? No, it's not O'Brien.
No, it's not Conan
What's the guy's name?
O'Brien.
You know,
Conan O'Brien is not the famous detective, though.
Case Closed. What's it called in? It's just called Conan, right?
Yeah.
Damn, what's his last name?
boy,
Probably something
don't know.
fucking Japanese.
Is it better? Is it better than Case Closed? I'll ask. It's not formulaic, right? It should be.
Wait, what do you mean?
I'm asking how's the comparison to Case Closed? Or
Conan?
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, Conan is just like.
don't you like it when every week someone dies of cyanide poisoning?
Conan is like a very different beast. So I think probably Conan if it came down to it, but I'm not sure if this is the correct comparison here.
Near, could Conan defeat Servant Sherlock Holmes?
What the fuck are you talking
No.
about? No.
Servant Sherlock Holmes shoots fucking laser beams, dude.
Yeah, but
I mean in a detective
Conan?
fight, not a actual fight.
I don't think
No,
Servant
no.
Sherlock has anything. Really.
Sherlock Holmes in the Fate universe is literally being gimped by the world because he's literally too smart that he would
Yeah.
be able to unravel the entirety of reality.
So
Yeah.
so he's smart enough to reach the root of the world, isn't he? Nice.
Yes, that's why the Throne of Heroes locks him in out of certain roles, certain classes.
Oh
Nice.
my god. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have for Kabukichou Sherlock. Again, check it out if you do want to see some interesting mechanics or interesting spin on the Sherlock Holmes franchise. Although, again, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like super similar to the tone of the original novels, but do check it out anyways. Oh, last but not least, we have a pretty big series to cover with none other than Year.
Wow. I'm covering Beastars, which is a pretty big show this season.
Yes, arguably the biggest.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest for sure. You've probably seen it by now in your YouTube recommendations of anti-tubers being like, "Oh, Beastars is not just for furries." But yeah,
how would you
Beastars.
say about that?
I mean, it's a show. It's got. It's very
You are
much.
living in a.
It's very much made by furry. So, I mean, like, I don't know. A lot of those AniTuber videos are literally just like, I like Beastars. I'm not a furry, by the way. Please don't call me a furry. But I don't think it really matters. But yeah. So Beastars is a series where it's a world where everybody is an anthropomorphic animal, and they're in school. They're in high school. And that's pretty much it.
Did they cover the Great War in the anime? I read the manga, but I haven't read the beginning in a long time.
No,
Oh, all right.
they have not gone over the war yet. But carnivores and herbivores have to live together, and the basic setup is basic for the world is that meat is, I guess, outlawed. And it like it's like actual meat is like selling meat is illegal, and so they have to make like basically impossible burgers for all the carnivores.
Fish
that
are
eat,
friends, not
Are you
food.
are you telling me that we're in a timeline where we could just become Beastars?
yeah.
Yeah. But
Um,
first you need to touch the what is it? The Andalite morphing cube.
Jesus fucking
So
Christ!
you become an Animorph. Then you got it.
Stop this.
yeah.
Anyways, keep going.
And so occasionally carnivores will, I guess, like give in to their hunting instincts or whatever,
Hmm.
and they just fucking eat somebody. And the series immediately starts with one student just gets fucking eaten. He
Damn.
dies and he gets eaten, and everyone's like,
Getting there.
"Damn, that's fucked up."
Yeah.
That's pretty metal.
Yeah, and nobody knows who did it.
It was me.
And it introduces the main character, who is Legoshi, a gray wolf, as like it essentially everybody's fucking scared of him because
He's a wolf.
this student just got fucking eaten, and he's this big, humongous, like scary looking wolf. But then it goes into, and he's Legoshi's just a timid, like kind of keep my head down, let everything pass me by, suppress all my emotions, loner type guy.
Right,
And
right.
everyone's like, oh, I guess he's not so bad after all, kind of stuff. And he's in the drama club. He's not like an actual like stage actor. He's just he's one of the spotlight guys, right?
Mhm.
And he comes in contact with Louis, which is this deer, and he's kind of like the most popular guy in school. And
He's
he's
the leader of the Shinsengumi, correct?
no,
That's
What?
I
No?
yeah, no.
no.
I think you're mistaken for a different series,
I
Toast.
don't think I am. You mean the guy with the
Uh-huh.
horns, right?
Yeah, this does
Oh,
not.
it's not Shinsengumi.
What are you talking about?
He's got the cat people behind him, right? No,
Yeah, those are just people. Those are just students in the school that like him. What are you talking
are they
about?
not called the Shinsengumi?
They never called them the Shinsengumi.
Hold on, let me.
I mean, if
Shishigumi.
they did
Whoops. That
okay.
That
isn't
is
Shishi like
slightly
lion?
different.
Lion Gumi? Ah.
Uh-huh. But yeah,
Whoops.
he's the most popular guy in school. He's the lead role in the play that they're doing. Basically he's fucking epic. And he kind of looks down on everybody. He's he's one of those people that's like trying to be perfect, and everybody expects him to be perfect, and yada yada yada. And then the main character meets this dwarf rabbit named Haru,
Mhm.
and he almost eats her. He like rips her arm open, and he's like,
Fuck.
"Oh,
Nice.
sorry." And they leave. And then a bunch of other characters come in, but basically the main premise is the main character Legoshi falls in love with Haru the rabbit.
Mhm.
But Haru is in a relationship with Louis, and it's typical romance triangle stuff.
Mhm.
There's another female gray wolf that comes in named Juno, and she's got like this weird rivalry with Louis where she's aiming to be, also the most popular student in the school, and she wants to like go out with Legoshi, and she also wants to be like top dog in terms of like the drama club as well.
So is
So
this like a coming of age like shoujo manga? It without the furry
yeah,
part.
so that's the interesting part, right?
How
The
did this get all the awards is my question. Like
yeah,
I'm not dissing it. I'm
um,
just like what I have no idea.
so uh, Mal categorizes this as shonen, for some reason, but it's very much a shoujo story.
Well, it might be published in a shonen
Yeah,
series.
probably is. But like in terms of just like uh I guess the genre tropes, right? It's very much a shonen story or a shoujo story. Um, it's a lot of uh intersecting, character motivations mixed with love triangles and emotions, right?
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a coming of age story for sure because Legoshi's fighting, with his instincts as a carnivore to, basically fucking eat people, and his feelings for a herbivore, which is I guess traditionally taboo in the world of Beastars. Carnivore
So
dating.
a little bit of the Romeo and Juliet kind of vibe.
Yeah, sort of.
Yes.
And you know that romance clashes with the fact that Haru's already in a relationship with somebody who may or may not actually care about her, and Juno, which is the female Grey Wolf, is aiming for the main character, but like he doesn't realize that. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? It's the typical shoujo story. But as for why Beastars is winning uh awards like left and right, I think it's because it does the standard shoujo stuff, but it doesn't get convoluted like shoujo stuff typically does, right? Because a lot of the shoujo stories they tend to have like 7 or like 10 characters, right? And they try to tell like all these stories at the same time, right? I think Beastars only has like 4. So it's a lot more focused, I think. And I guess probably, just the unique world, and the unique, I guess, characters, right? Them being, anthropomorphic animals, lends it to, I guess, telling a somewhat standard story in a more unique manner, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So 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 with the focus of the unique story, huh?
I think so, yeah. I
What do
mean, it's
you so what exactly? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
on which part?
So when you talk about like the focus, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you already have the how do I say? You already have the sort of the Romeo and Juliet and the coming of age, right?
Yeah.
And shouldn't that are you generally talking about like you have the love triangle and you have all this other bullshit kind of going around, but it's like they're focusing the author focuses a little bit more hardcore on the again the as I aforementioned the Romeo and Juliet kind of part, the herbivore and again the predator part. Is that sort of what you're talking about with the focus?
More of just like I was saying, a lot of shoujo stuff they have like a lot of characters, right?
Yes, a
And
lot of characters kind of trying to jump in the spotlight
yeah,
first.
they're all kind of trying to, and like they're all trying to have their story being told at the same time, right? And it's very convoluted and hard to follow. Whereas Beastars, it has like the main characters really are just Legoshi and Haru and Louis, right? Like there's 3, I guess, main characters, and Louis in some ways can be considered a side character as well, right? Like he's not as in the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It tells a shoujo-esque story, but it doesn't fall into the trappings of trying to just introduce more
Love triangle
characters.
after love triangle kind
Yeah,
of
it
for
doesn't
yeah.
just
Okay,
be
so
like
that's the big thing.
it doesn't set up the love triangle and then uh
It's
it
like
sets up the
here
love
are more
triangle
second
and it
heroes.
doesn't set up more characters to be involved into the love triangle.
Right. Of course.
It sets up the love triangle. It introduces like one outside element,
How much?
and
So
then it
can I ask something
tells a
though?
story.
How much? You know how it's like the other portion, the other side of, or the other sort of leg of this, right? The whole like introducing other characters and having to jump in. The other infamous leg of the shoujo manga is the will they won't they kind of thing, right? With the misunderstandings.
Yeah.
How much of that is in here?
Um. So this is 8 episodes in, right?
Yes.
And I think it's somewhat interesting, right? Because a lot of the, I guess the initial episodes is a lot of Legoshi kind of just sort of contemplating within himself whether he actually genuinely is like in love with Haru, right? Like, he's talking about he has all these feelings with her, and he's conflicted on whether his feelings are actually love or some weird like form of just wanting to like eat her, right?
Mhm.
Like basically he's not sure whether he sees her as food or the girlfriend, right? And a lot of that is the initial episodes, I think. Him just kind of trying to come uh, out of his shell in some ways, and then sort of look inwards on himself, and reflect on certain events, and what like he feels and stuff like that. And I think he only really decides like, yeah, I love her by like episode 5, I think.
Okay.
So there hasn't been a lot of like will they won't they, because it's the initial setup is like that, and then the make like Legoshi discovers that Haru is probably in a relationship with Louis, and then he has to be like, oh well, a sort of a hedgehog's dilemma thing kind of comes into play, where he's like, oh well, I don't want to like get too close if she's already in a relationship, because then I'll just end up hurting myself, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so I guess there's not too much will they won't they right now. There's been they go out and they do stuff like alone every once in a while, and there's moments where he's like, oh, I should probably tell her this, and then something comes up, and
So a lot of it's more like introspection on both sides rather than
yeah, a lot of it is.
yes. Like
There's a
I mean,
lot of introspection.
there's already a lot of like a decent amount of introspection in a show series, but you're telling me the ratio is even more skewed towards introspection in
Yeah.
Beastars.
So like I'd say like 70% of, maybe even more, of Legoshi's lines is
Mhm.
just introspection. It is
Okay,
inner thoughts, right?
that's very interesting,
Um,
actually.
and it's like it's a lot of it. And it's actually one of the things that I really like about this anime, is because um, Legoshi's voice actor, Chikahiro Kobayashi, the way he talks in the inner thoughts is like it's supernatural, right? Like it's like he's just talking normally, right? Like
Right.
it's like how I guess any normal person would just, I guess, have like a sort of inner monologue in their head, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
I
not.
was really fucking confused when you said supernatural
Yeah,
for a
yeah, I
bit.
know. But yeah,
Very natural.
it's very
It's very
natural.
organic.
Yeah, it's not like he's not emphasizing stuff. He's not like screaming about stuff in his head. Like it's just speech, right? And it's something that it's like a really minor thing, but it's something that I really liked.
Right.
Especially with how much like inner monologue there is in this show.
Okay. So that sort of does make it a little bit clear on what the differences are between, again, sort of more standard series and what Beastar might offer. Again, pretty interesting that it did kind of end up mix. I think more than like any one thing that really stood out, it was probably just like a mix of all these sorts of subtle kind of variants that really jumbled together to create this, I guess, a very popular mixture, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of more unique stuff, I guess, about Beastars, where it's like, I guess, it's not really, it's not really world building, but there's minor bits and pieces here where it's like, um, the, I guess you could call it like a sort of like racial tension in a way between carnivores and herbivores, right? Where it's like, every once in a while there will be news where it's like, oh, a herbivore just like fucking murdered and ate like 3 people, right?
Hmm.
And then a few scenes later, there will be herbivores that are bullying carnivores, and they're like, oh, I'm not like that, bro, right?
Right.
So little bits of like unique spins in the way Beastars sets up its world to differentiate the divide between like carnivores and herbivores and like how they live together, right? And there's like minor little silly bits of trivia like how birds need a permit to fly around and stuff, right?
You know what this talk actually reminds me about? It reminds me of a series that we discussed quite a while back about Centaur no Nayami.
Yeah.
The words of a centaur or whatever it is, right? Centaur's anxiety or whatever it was in the localization, right? Where at the beginning it was all like, the teacher was telling this horror story, right? It's like, there's all this discrimination, blah blah blah, against centaurs or whatever the hell it is, right? And then we got into a little bit of discussion about how that sort of thing was a little bit too on the nose, I believe, was the discussion we had, right?
Yeah.
It seems kind of like a refined version of that this time around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't like bash it into your skull, right?
Yeah,
Like it
like fucking racism
yeah,
against
it
Centaur.
presents it in. I think the school setting helps a lot, right? I don't
Mhm.
remember if Centaur's life was in a school setting.
It was. It was.
Centaur's
Yeah, it
life
was, it
was
was.
certainly in a
Okay.
school
Wasn't it a
setting.
Centaur's Worries? Is that what it is?
The
Yeah,
Centaur's word, yeah. Centaur no
Yeah.
something like that. But
transliteration, yeah.
I think the
um,
actual translation is Centaur's life.
but yeah, I think the school setting is kind of what helps Beastars. Even if Centaur's life did have a school setting too, because the way it goes about it is it's like this. So there's it immediately starts off the story, right? It starts off with the act of violence within the school, right? And it presents, I guess, the divide in that like immediate environment, right? Like just the attitude within the school, right? But then there's moments where uh they go outside of the school, right? And then they see that the way that their herbivores and carnivores treat each other like outside of school is different, right? Even though there are acts of violence outside as well, right? And they treat it in a more of like young kids basically just being school bullies, right? They don't treat it like racism, right? Like it's more of like just bullying, right? It's not
It's not like they're trying to really go for a very broad like moral concept. It's more
yeah,
just like a
it's
thing
more of
that happens
just
in schools.
it's more of just like carnivores have this sort of air about them where they are obviously more dangerous than herbivores.
It's a
And
smaller concept they're talking about. It's not like again,
yeah,
it's
it's
not
just
like Aldno Zero or like Recreators or like
yeah, it's a minor consequence that
yeah.
the main character has to face in
Still
terms of
central,
like
but a little bit more minor. Yeah.
yeah, it's a small thing that the main character always has to think about when he's talking to like herbivores and stuff, right?
Right, right.
It's just something that's like it's sort of just a method to reinforce the idea that the main character he's a fucking wolf, right? And he's huge, and he's scary, right? Um, and it just reinforces that in a way, right? But yeah, I think a lot of what Beastars presents and I guess the way it flows is like in a word, it's just natural, right? It presents all this stuff to you and you you're just like, yep, like that makes sense, right?
Right, right.
Um, there's not really many moments where you're like, why would it be like that or something, like why would they act like this or stuff like that. It's a lot of it is very it just feels like well thought out, I guess. Like it's all presented very well and you accept it very readily, right?
Right.
For a setting that's pretty bizarre.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's the thing is they everything else except for like the animal seems very standard. I mean, like the sure like carnivorous thing, but even the carnivorous thing is a little bit more of like an on the nose thing about like jocks like in school and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's a interesting way to kind of how do I say it? Make things more palatable in a sense.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good show. In
Yeah.
terms of, audio visuals, this is of course done by Studio Orange, who
Mhm.
did Hoseki no Kuni.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
It is all CG.
Hmm.
And
Did they deliver again?
I'd say yes. So the interesting thing is, one of my favorite parts of Hoseki no Kuni, right, besides, just the fact that, they nailed like the gem part of the characters just stunningly with the lighting, right, was the
Mhm.
movement, right? Hoseki no Kuni's movement was very, very well done. I think the movement in this is even better.
Oh,
And I
really?
almost think it's mocapped in some spots, which is weird
Interesting.
because the main
Yeah.
character is this huge, like towering, like lumbering, slouching wolf man, right?
Mhm.
And they make his movement just look so fluid and like it's really good.
That's
Um,
pretty wild. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, at least it shows that they're actually like improving and like doing stuff.
yeah. Studio Orange is definitely becoming one of like probably the most exciting studios for me. I don't know if I
Solid,
want
at least, at the very
Yeah,
least.
I don't know if I want to say they're like becoming my favorite studios
Yeah,
because, they haven't done that much that's been like, you know, super off, like just blow me away, right? Like they've
yeah.
done this and Hoseki no Kuni, right?
Right.
And two isn't necessarily a pattern, right? So, but yeah, it looks really, really good.
Yeah.
There was a really, really amazing segment actually where Haru is dreaming, and it's animated in color pencil on paper, uh, and it looks really, really good. And it transitions really well into the CG, I think. But yeah, it was really cool. In terms of the music, it's really good. The composer Satoru Kosaki is the guy that's worked on like every single Monogatari series.
Oh, okay.
So it's really solid. It's
Is that the
sort of like
same person who did Hoseki no Kuni?
I don't think so, no. It's a different guy, yeah. But it's a very piano-y, jazzy, like, mellow soundtrack, and it's really, really good. I think, closing statements, I think Beastars is probably it's probably the most impressive series this season for me.
Okay.
I mean,
I
I'm not. No one's gonna contest that. I won't.
like, I don't want to immediately just be like, yeah, this is like, the Hoseki no Kuni, like 2 for me, like the next Hoseki no Kuni, like, I don't want to say this is gonna be my
Well, we'll
anime
find
of
out
the
if it
year,
gets,
right?
7 awards.
Yeah, we'll see. But it's really impressive to me. I've always said I like anime that does unique stuff, right? And uh Beastars is certainly unique in its setting. It's unique in its visuals, just like Hoseki no Kuni was. And it's impressive to boot. It's a polished project. Uh, it's good. I would highly recommend it. Um, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, okay, furry.
Nier already booked himself a ticket to Furfest.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you,
Yeah,
Nier.
who would win in a
Us-
fight? Legosi or that weird fox from Zootopia?
Probably Legoshi.
What about
Yeah, what
Haru
about
versus?
Big B Wolf?
Yeah.
What?
Have you
So
seen Wolf's
what
Rain?
about Big B Wolf from Wolf Among Us?
Mm, I don't know. That's a close one.
Isn't he Magic Wolf? He can
He's a
regenerate and stuff,
werewolf.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Near, have you seen Wolf's Rain or Wolf Children?
Yeah.
Who would win in a fight?
Probably Legoshi. To be honest.
Okay. But yeah, Beastars is good, Near. It only gets better.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read the manga, but I'm probably going to after this anime
Yeah.
is ended.
Yeah.
I don't know how many episodes this is going to be. I assume it's going to be 12. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
It might.
definitely
It
gonna
could
read
get a second season.
Yeah, possible.
But yeah, thank you so much, Nira, for helping us cover Beastar. Beastar definitely, again, I would argue it's like just like anime-wise this season, where like franchises are one thing, like the shadow of FGO, the shadow of Azur Lane. Like anime-wise and just like individual series-wise, I would say Beastars is definitely the biggest in terms of sort of like the like individual like anime name.
Yeah.
So the season, so definitely need to cover that. So thank you very much for helping cover it. And with that, we are going to move on to the news. Pretty interesting stuff that we have just before we cut to our previews and our award shows, neither of which will have a news section. So this one is going to be a little bit, a lot of sort of like awards and so on and so forth. So please bear with us. I'm just going to kind of try to shoot through a lot of stuff here. First off, Midori Kato, voice actress of Sazae in the anime of Machiko Hasegawa Sazae-san manga. And if you don't know what Sazae-san is, at least please read up on the description, because Sazae-san is like some legendary shit in like Japanese culture or like anime / manga culture. Like every Japanese person who has read a manga in their life probably knows Sazae-san.
Is it more popular than what's the one with the cop guy?
What do you mean?
Cop guy? What?
Yeah, he was in
I
Jump
don't-
Stars.
I don't know what you're talking.
Kochikame.
Jump
There we go.
Stars? You mean Jump Force?
Oh,
No, Jump Stars.
Oh,
Kochikame. Yeah.
Probably.
Probably
Okay.
yes. Like Sazae-san again, very legendary. But anyways, received the Guinness World Record for the longest career as a voice actor for the same character in an animated television series on Sunday. In addition, the Guinness World Records Committee extended the world record for the longest running animated television series for Sazae-san anime. It began airing in October 6th, 1969. Jesus Christ. The anime is usually the highest ranked anime series in Japan each week, so congratulations. Again, very like legendary series.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. Second, on the awards side, Makoto Shinkai's Weathering With You anime film won the Best Animated Feature Film Award at the 13th Asia Pacific Screen Awards, ASPA, in Brisbane, Australia on Thursday. Hiroyasu Ishida's Penguin Highway film was also nominated for the award. Blah blah blah. You know the drill. Weathering With You, Tenki no Ko, whatever you want to call it. Go watch it. New Makoto Shinkai. If you know, the movie, Your Name, obviously, you might want to check this out, so on and so forth. Don't think I need to say anything much more. Next. I'm breezing through a lot of these, sorry. The judging committee of the 65 Shukakukan Manga Awards, again, very, like, one of the biggest, I would want to say, like, top two, pretty much, in terms of, like, general, like, prize money and, like, name recognition. So Shukakukan Manga Awards revealed the nominees for this year's awards. Shukakukan, obviously one of the big publishers in Japan, along with Shueisha and why am I forgetting? There are like 4 publishers. Why do I only know 2? But there are like 4 different publishers. But Shukakukan is one of like the biggest ones. There. Each winning title will be honored with a bronze statuette and a prize of 1 million yen, which is about 9,000 US dollars. Very big in Japan, obviously. The winners will be announced in late January. So best children's manga goes to Neko Hajimemashita by Konomi Wagata, and Super Mario Kun, Yukio Sawada. Not too surprising here. Best shonen manga, Maiko-san Chi no Makanai-san by Aiko Koyama Aiko, and How Much Heavy Dumbbells Can You Lift? Dumbbell nan kilo moteru? By Yabako Sandroch. And also Jujutsu Kaisen by Gege Akutami. Sorry. Best shoujo manga. The nominees are Koi to Dangan by Nozomi Mino, Seiro Opera by Kanako Sakura Koji, Nagi no Oitama, Misato Konari. Best general manga goes to Aoashi by Yugo Kobayashi, Mystery to You Nakare, or Do Not Say Mystery by Yumi Tamura, and Kaguya-sama, Love is War. Kaguya-sama wa kokurasetai, Tensai tachi no renai zunousen by Aka Akasaka. So, Shogakukan overall is not as sort of niche. It's not like it doesn't pick as niche series as do a lot of like, for instance, like the Taisho Awards and stuff like that, right? That we announce throughout the year. But if you do want something that's a little bit more mainstream, but still picked by people who thought, this is not decent. I don't think this is. Yeah, this is not like done by like the judges for these things aren't like it's not like crowd based. It's done by like book owners of bookstores and stuff like that and writers and stuff. So if you do want something a little bit more mainstream, not too out of the way, but it has been considered for award by Shogakukan, please do check these out. Yes, Kodansha is another publisher. Yes. Kodansha, Shueisha, Shogakukan are the three big publishers. There's another one, I think. I might be wrong, but yeah, anyways. Next, a little bit on the company front. Entertainment news website Variety reported on Tuesday that Funimation has hired 4 new executives to its management team. The new executives and the roles are Winnie Katzenstein as Vice President of Market Strategy, TJ Walker as Vice President of Creative, Beth Kawasaki as Executive Director of Brand Management, and Anna Sonko Adamian as Vice President of Licensing and Merchandising. So the general idea for why companies hire new executives, there are multiple reasons, but it's like mainly like new vision, or like if they need leadership, or if they need to sort of, start, need people to sort of head, new initiatives and stuff like that. A lot of sort of changes in the company going on, not just like personnel, which is obvious, but in general, sort of like the direction, essentially. So Hakusensha, maybe Hakusensha, but yeah, so this sort of denotes, I want to say, pretty big changes, like people, at least like the shareholders or whoever, kind of pushing for pretty big changes within the company. So we'll see how that goes, but definitely interesting how it's like they're pumping up the executive end. You know what I mean? Like 4 more executives is not like, I mean, like it's not even like there's a time and place for like like switching of CEOs, like Japanese companies have been doing recently, right? But this is like definitely a different beast. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to I'm going to skip around a little news here. Cover the tasty morsels last. A little bit on the visual novel front. So earlier this year, Sprite, a visual novel studio making some pretty decently popular visual novels, went bankrupt, and this was seen sort of as a herald for a lot of visual novels or visual novel studios in Japan, starting to sort of face the same issues, right, with funding and so on and so forth. The official website for the game maker Sprite announced on Thursday that it has resumed operations after it had halted operations last March. The game maker listed fan requests and desire for members to produce more reasons for the quote revival. S-Works will be Sprite's parent company.
So they got picked up.
So essentially, what I'm guessing happened is like they got like some of the former members gathered together a lot of these fan requests and stuff like that, and went to S-Works, right? Pretty much begged, right?
Yeah.
And they got one good chance. So I am happy for them, but I feel like probably an unstable position. Like they are. Ichi-sanji campgrounds like yes. Ichi-sanji, you mean Ichi-sanji just like cameos? That's gonna be the future. But anyways, yeah, they have from what I feel, they have a very, very like small platform, and it's a very unstable one. So I do hope that they make good use of it. I really do hope that they do that. So God knows we don't want any random, visual novel studios just up and going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Next, this might be a little bit of interest to to some people. I don't know. Let me clear this to a lot of people. It might cause ulcer in more than one person, and that more than one person might include myself having that ulcer. A teaser website launched on Thursday to reveal that Jun Maeda, and if you don't know who Jun Maeda is, I cannot help you. Stage
Who's Jun Maeda?
is developing Heaven Burns Red, his first completely new game in 13 years. The role-playing game, it is a role
RPG.
on mobile, is slated to launch for iOS and Android devices in 2020. Key Studio and WFS are created with the original concept, and they're collaborating to produce a project under obviously visual arts. Maeda is providing the main scenario for the game. Yugen of Outbreak Company fame. Oh, that's pretty cool. Of Outbreak Company, I really love the visuals. Okay, I think it will work well for a mobile game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's providing the main visual and character designs based on Naga, who of Angel Beats and Busters, Fumiya and Maruyaka's origin.
Naga's the good artist.
So literally everybody's piling in, huh? Like
you can't do this to me, man.
Maeda is also producing the music for the game and providing a theme and insert songs with Nagi Yanagi.
Come on, dude, you can't do that.
I really wanted this to fail since it said mobile, but now I want it to succeed.
You can't.
Literally everybody is in this.
Like sooner or later we're just gonna be like, yeah, Ryan Reynolds in this game too for some reason. Like
this better be good.
The website is previewing Maeda Yanagi's theme song Before I Rise. A Twitter campaign is celebrating the game's announcement on 3-color paperboard signed by the main staff. Maeda provided the original concept of the Summer Pockets game that debuted for Windows PC in June 2018, and for iOS and Android devices December 28th. But I believe at that time, like he was working on it, but he didn't. Like he had like a little bit of creative controls, but he didn't really like do stuff for it, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
I think he made like some music for it a little bit, like, but he didn't do much for it. Yeah. But this is big. Like this is fucking big. It is really unfortunate though that it is a mobile like RPG. Like I don't know what the fuck's up with that. I guess they're just doing it because it's. Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess that's probably cheaper than doing the full PC game,
It's
right?
a safer bet too.
Yeah, it's a safer bet too. Yeah, over profit. But yeah, they're bringing the fucking team together. They are visual art is like, you know, if we're gonna have Jun Maeda before he like goes to the hospital for a 5th time, we're gonna blow everything. Yeah, we're gonna fucking bring Nagiana in for some reason.
Avengers Assemble, man.
Avengers Assemble. We're just gonna have like helicopter on the roof of like a visual arts studio, and the outcomes like Gen Urobuchi, and it's like, what the hell are you doing here? It's like the Gen Urobuchi from before Alno Zero was made. It's like previous timelines and shit.
Is this gonna be the new Chaos Dragon?
Oh my god! Please don't even mention that. Don't even talk about that. But yeah, I am going to be having an ulcer. I'm sure many people are also going to be having an ulcer too. But we'll see. Next, the Japan Fair Trade Commission, or JFTC, announced on Wednesday that it has conducted the talent agency contracts that prohibit former clients from performing for a set period after the contracts expire are a violation of Japan's Antitrust Act. The group determined that when talent agencies use their positions of power in this way in contracts, it creates what the Antitrust Act refers to as "quote-unquote" abuse of a superior position. So this is probably just again pretty related to, you know, especially female like Japanese idols and like voice actors, like multi-talents kind of wandering around with agencies, right?
Yeah.
Obviously very good for the people involved, but kind of shows you, you know, this is
how fucked it is over there.
Yeah, it's kind of like an exception that proves the rule, right? Where it's like proves sort of the general culture. In this case, where it's like they have very little power over there, and again, the situation is so fucked up over there, where it's like there's so many people kind of jumping in the pool, right? And there's not that much pay, and a lot of people just kind of get cut off, and very unfortunate. But I'm sure. I'm glad that this is at least one small step towards better progress. But yeah, one last bit of news before we go, and I'm sure you guys will appreciate this, or before we move on to people stuff, and I'm sure you guys will appreciate this. We have some rankings and numbers for you guys. First time in a long time, and this is like end of the year kind of shit. I'm sure there'll be more numbers coming along in like a month or so, but this is how it is. Anyways, first of all, kono light novel ga sugoi, or this light novel is amazing guidebook, which is a very, very famous light novel like ranking guidebook. It's kind of almost like a U.S. News and World Report, if any of you guys are familiar with that thing, where it's like it just ranks random shit. It's kind of like that almost, but with light novels. The 2020 edition reported its list of the top light novel series on Monday. And as with last year, the category is divided between bunkobon, which are smaller A6 size books, and tankobon, larger B6 size books. So again, this guidebook, just take it with, at best, like a barrel of salt. A lot of this is just like kind of like mainstream fan baiting. But yeah, anyways, the bunkobon, the smaller book rankings include number 1, Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru, or 7 Magic Swords Rule.
This ranking, is this like popularity or like best?
This is like an internal ranking kind of thing. Like internal, like the whoever made this guidebook is just like, wow, this is so great kind of thing. I don't think it's a popular. Again, that's why I said it was like the U.S. News and World Report, where it's like if you know that site, where it's like they just like for instance, like they rank like random schools and stuff like that based upon their internal rules, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Second, Ryo no Oshigoto, or the Ryo's work is never done. Third, Jakkara Tomozaki-kun, or also known as bottom tier character Tomozaki. Not that great. Yokosu Jitsuryoku Shijo Shugi no Kyoshitsu, or Classroom of the Elite. At number 4. Number 5.
This is all false.
幼馴染が絶対に負けない love comedy, or a romantic comedy where the childhood friend absolutely will not lose. At least the title sounds pretty decent, but I feel like the series
I feel like
is
it's
actually
gonna
garbage.
lose.
That's a
Yeah.
bait.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
fucking
bait.
dude.
Nier is already stealing the words right off her mouth. It's bait. Number 6, the infamous Aobuta, or also known as Seishun Butai Yoro wa Bunny Girl Senpai no Yume wo Minai. Rascal does not dream Bunny Girl Senpai.
Should be number 1.
Number 7, Mama Haha no Tsurego ga Motto Kanada. My stepmother's daughter was my ex-girlfriend. Oh my fucking god. What the hell is with these series?
Nice.
Kimi no Wasureta Oshite, or Tell Me How You Forget. Number 9, Natsue no Tanara Sayonara no Teguchi. The tunnel that leads to summer and the exit of farewells. I think I've heard about this before, actually. And the last one, Otonari no Tenshira-sama ni itsu no aida ni kame. Okay. Otonari no Tenshira-sama ni itsu no aida ni ka dame ningen ni sarete iru ken. The time when the angel beside me turned me into a useless excuse for a human being before I knew it.
Sounds good.
Okay. The bigger ones include, usually these are a little bit more of the novel types. The tankobons are usually more of the solid novel types here. The tankobon rankings include number 1, Unnamed Memory. This seems like a feudal fantasy thing. Number 2, Honsuki no Gekkojo. Shisho ni naru tame ni wa Shudan o erandeiramasen. Ascendants of a Bookworm. Number 3, Kage no Jitsuryokusha Naritakute, also known as The Eminence in Shadow. I've heard about this before, I think. Number 4, very big one, Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. Mushoku Tensei Isekai Itara Honki desu. Number 5, Rebuild World Series. Number 6, Majo no Tabi Tabi. This one I've heard about. I wanted to read this one for a while. Wandering Witch, The Journey of Elena. Number 7, Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Tensei Shitara Slime Dattake. Number 8, Otome Game Sekai wa Mobu ni Kibishii Sekai desu. Otome Game World is rough for a character. Number 9, So I'm a Spider, So What? Kumo desu ka nanika? Is every one of these isekai? What's happening here?
It's light novels, dude.
Holy shit, what the fuck is happening? And Jesus Christ. Tsundere Akuyaku Reijou Riseru no Jikyou no Endo-kun to Kasu. Oh my god, somebody help me. Alright, let me reread this. Tsundere Akuyaku Reijou Riseru no Jikyou no Endo-kun to Kaisetsu no Kobayashi-san. The villain is Tsundere Harris Lizelot, the truth of Endo, and the Sooth Kobayashi. That was a mouthful. So yes, these are pretty much all Isekai series, as you might have guessed. So yeah, pretty yeah, I don't know what to say about these. So check these out if you want to see whatever this guidebook recommends. This is the world, so
Shit
next.
sucks.
Yeah, the top selling manga in Japan by series 2019 by using Oricon numbers. Obviously, as some of you guys know, Oricon is like essentially it's like a record of like top sales, stuff like that. It's like pretty much all Japanese media. It's been covering anime since when was it? Like 2008 or something like that? 2007, 2008, some shit like that. So since then, it's kept a pretty consistent track of everything. So this is the first time in 12 years that One Piece has not topped Oricon's annual comic ranking chart by series.
Damn.
So Shueisha reported earlier this week that none other than Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba sold 10.8 million volumes, while
Dab.
One Piece. Sorry, excuse me. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba sold 12.0 million volumes, while One Piece sold around 10 million volumes in the same time period of sales as Oricon's survey. So, wow, that's yeah, because the current slow as fucking shit. But yeah, this is big though. Like regardless of like how people think of like One Piece right now, it's like One Piece is One Piece. There's a reason why there are like theme parks. Like there's like a fucking One Piece land in Japan. So going down the ranking, number 1, the new king, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, had 12 million estimated 12 million sales this year. Number 2, One Piece, had estimated 10.1 million sales. Number 3, Kingdom, 7.6 million sales. Number 4, The Promised Neverland, 7.4. Number 5, the quintessential quintuplets, Gotobu no Hanayome. After that, Boku no Hero Academia, My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, Haikyuu, Kaguya-sama Love is War, and Tensei Shitara Slime at the Kenver. That time I got reincarnated as a slime manga. So pretty standard all around. I didn't expect the quintessential quintuplets to get really that boosted, but I guess the anime boosted it quite a lot, as is the usual, right?
My Hero Academia is fucking dead.
Yeah, and also Kimetsu no Yaiba, obviously. Where I think who did it? It was who did it again? Was it
Ufotable.
Yeah, Ufotable. Like I think honestly, I think dragged like Kimetsu no Yaiba to the top of the mountain. I'm not gonna lie. I
The
think
power of looking pretty, man.
yeah, it's kind of like how Attack on Titan kind of like it really got that boost that year,
Yeah.
where it's like
Just
it was like
massive
maybe
fucking
it was
list.
like Oricon like top 15 at best, like before the anime, and then after the anime, it was like yeah, we'll just take like what is it, like 2/5 of One Piece's like sales, like casually. It's like okay, yeah, sure. So that's the power of anime promotions done right. Ufotable, thank you. Pray pray emoji. But yeah, the power of having any original sense of style. And the last bit of rankings, a little bit of fun, is top selling light novels in Japan by series 2019. So this is different. This is not like by the guidebook. It's just sales ranking. So number 1, the time I got reincarnated as a slime, I had estimated around 880,000 sales. Or this is by obviously for volume of light novels. Number 2, this is a little bit depressing, but the Weathering with You light novel, or Tenkinoko light novel adaptation, at 630,000 sales. Number 3, Sword Art Online, 615. Number 4, ReZero, 550. Number 5, Seishin Butayoro series, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Number 6, Kusuriya no Hitorigoto, which I believe is it's like the one where it's like the green hair girl, like that was like a Chinese like drug like thing, like girl, like working at like at a feudal pharmacist or something like that. I believe that was like the series. I forget exactly. but I think that was it. Number 7, Danmachi, or is it wrong to try to pick up girls in dungeon? Number 8, the regular at Magic High School or Mahou Kokusei, Mahou Koku no Retusei, excuse me. Number 9, Classroom of the Elite, and number 10, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba novel adaptation. So pretty interesting ranking. Well, not too interesting. There are some surprises here and there, but I think the biggest thing is just like the One Piece fall, right? Like that's big. That's big.
Yeah.
I think the impact of that probably won't hit people like news wise for like at least in the Western Hemisphere for like probably another like 3 to 6 months, right? But when it
Yeah.
does, I think it'll be a good shock. It'll be pretty fun to watch. So we'll see that.
Don't worry, it's a one at a time thing. Have you see what's happening in One Piece right now?
What?
Big stuff. The Wano arc. We get to hear
Wow.
about Kozuki Oden and Roger, the golden age of piracy.
I'm pretty sure every time I hear somebody talk about One Piece, they always say big stuff is coming. But like, does it ever actually happen?
Well, yeah, all the time.
Shake
Uh,
my
Like to
head,
be
too.
like let's see. I mean, we learned about Sanji's family. That's okay, whatever. And then now we're finally get to Wano. Wano's like the big arc. I believe it's the big arc before the finale where we learn about there's a flashback with Odin talking to Whitebeard and Gold Roger in their prime. So we're finally getting the good stuff.
So how's that? What was it? It's One Piece and it's like final stages. How's that coming
Yes?
along?
I don't know.
Does it feel like it's ending
No.
anytime soon?
It feels like we're heading towards the climax, but not close to the ending at all.
Oh my fucking god.
This is what
Anyway.
it's another 10 years, right? That's the one. 5 to 10
I
years.
think he said 5.
I don't believe
Yeah.
that. I count at least 8 to 10. There's a lot.
Anyways,
joke.
moving on to the people news real quick here. First off, the Kyoto Prefectural Police arrested former manga creator Taro Ichikura. Taro Ichikura, pen name Ichiro Kurata, who wrote the manga Amahara Shoujo. Ichikura, age 51, had allegedly posted 4 images of a young girl between May 6th and July 8th. According to police, Ichikura used Tor, which was a general like chatting software kind of thing, anonymous, to open a website for child pornography that used a membership system in February 2018. As of February 2019, the site had around 2,000 accounts. That police suspect that Ichikura had posted over 20,000 images of child pornography on this website, and they are investigating the matter. Jesus fucking Christ!
Wow. Looking
Where
at the
do
menu
you
he was
find
drawing, it's not a
picture-
surprise.
Where do you even individually find 20,000 pictures of child pornography? Like, what is wrong with these people? Like, I don't even understand. Like, individually, like, how would you do that?
That's always
Don't
that's
do
always
that.
the really weird part I find.
Yeah,
where-
it's like if
Whenever
it's like a
someone-
community gallery, like that's one thing. Like even
Yeah.
if each person had like 2 pictures, I'd be like, I could understand maybe where that came from. How does one person have 20,000 pictures?
whenever someone
Zip
gets
file,
busted,
bro.
like whenever someone gets busted for CP, it's always like
Yeah, like 100,000
3
pictures.
terabytes or something. Like,
Jesus Christ.
why do they need that much?
How
You
do
don't
they
need that many pictures.
like? Do they have like several like states populations of like child trafficking rings that they just take pictures of?
Well, you know,
It's like
near
every time.
children get older, so
The pictures don't age.
yeah, but the people do. I don't
I
know.
don't- that's
They
right.
have to
I
keep
don't
it
think that-
contemporary.
I guess I don't know.
Anyway, next piece of news: voice actor Tsubasa Yonaka,
Who's that?
who did Yomashi Pedal's Sankaku Manami, Idolish 7's Mitsuki Izumi, Freeze Nagisa Hazuki, and Chiafu's Tsutomu Kumano. So he is in a lot of boy band, like male kind of shoujo kind of stuff here. Oh yeah, he also did Izubi Senai in Love Stage, so that's pretty interesting. So, anyways, voice actor Tsubasa Yonaga and his agency Kim Production announced on Monday that he's limiting his work due to dysphonia. he will continue to work on titles and appear at events that have already been announced or are currently in production.
Is
You're
what
not
was
getting the
that?
agency are Dysphonia. I am not entirely
Is
sure
that like
myself.
euphonia or euphoria?
No, impaired
Difficulty in
voice.
speaking due to a physical disorder of the mouth, tongue, throat, or
Okay,
vocal
okay.
cords.
Yeah. So
What a
probably
great-
because he was overusing his voice or
Yeah.
like it was strange.
What a great thing for a voice actor to get.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. But yeah, so limited parts of activities. Please wish him a speedy recovery. But yeah. But yeah, so that's that. Next, actor and voice actor Tadashi Nakamura passed away at 9:10 a.m. on February 11th in a hospital at Kanagawa Prefecture due to blood poisoning from gallbladder inflammation at the age of 89. Very unfortunate. He did stuff like narrated. What is it? He narrated a Japanese version of the American Bewitched, and he voiced Charlie in the Japanese dub version of the original Charlie's Angels stuff.
I
He did.
thought you were gonna say Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
No.
I
Nakamura's
don't know
other
what those
anime
are.
roles include Giant Robe, Shogatsurio Kome, Kyoji no Hoshi's Tetsuhara Kawakami, Bubblegum Price's Tokyo 2040's Quincy Rosencrantz, and Tetsujin 28's Dr. Big Fire. So please wish his friends and family justice. Next, this is a pretty big news. I forget if I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but Manami Numakura Manami, best known for her role in the Idolmaster series Hibiki Ganaha, announced her marriage to fellow voice actor Ryuta Osaka this past October. And so now she revealed on Monday that she will end her singing activities after she releases her new album and holds her last concert in February, although she will still continue voice acting. So I don't know whether it's she's stopping just the solo singing or whether she's just like cutting whatever work she's doing for Idolmaster, like in future Idolmaster stuff too. But very interesting. I mean, it's to be expected that she would limit her activities after the marriage, but very interesting because again, she literally made her name by being a singing idol. So pretty interesting how that works out. Again, wish the best in her future endeavors, so on and so forth. And if you haven't done so, please congratulate her on her recent marriage. Next, voice actor Chris Ayres announced on Twitter on Friday they received a lung transplant on October 31st after having been on a transplant list for almost 2 years. Ayres added that he is still in the rehab and recovery before he can leave the hospital, but stated that doctors have been thrilled with his progress. So Ayres is best known for voicing the character Frieza in the Dragon Ball Z series, and his voice characters in Gantz, Tamako Market, Fee Brain, Gintama the movie, Pantheon Stocking Gardeable, Sengoku Basari, Initial D, and Tears to Tiara, so on and so forth. So please wish him a speedy recovery. And last but not least, a little bit more on the awards section here. Japan's Agency for Cultural Affairs announced Friday that Gundam creator Yoshiyuki Tomino, manga creator Rumiko Takahashi, and anime studio Icon founder Hidenori Murata will receive its Commissioner for Cultural Affairs Award for the year Reiwa 1, which began on May 1st. The award honors quote-unquote individuals who have made distinguished accomplishment in artistic and cultural activities. So obviously, lifetime awards essentially. So please congratulate them. The award is rarely awarded to individuals involved in the anime manga industry. Studio Pierrot founder Yuji Nunokawa and manga creator Kazuo Umezu of Makoto-chan and Watashi no Shingo received the award this past March. So obviously a pretty big lifetime award. Please congratulate them. Pretty obvious people to give them to, right? Gundam creator, Rumiko Takahashi, like these are pretty obvious people to send it to, but definitely congratulations are in order. And
I'm
with
not
that,
gonna lie.
yeah.
Every time I read Tomino's name in a headline,
Mhm.
I think he's dead. Like I'm expecting to read that
Yeah.
he's just dead.
He's like really old now. Right?
He's too angry to die. He has to
It
hate on the
seems
last
like it.
Ava movie first.
Oh my god. Anyways, with that, we are done with the news and we're on to our shoutouts and callouts here. And again, for those of you who don't know, everybody gets one shoutout, one callout. Shoutout is one thing that you want to praise, give 5 stars, speak well of. It could be any one person, place, or thing. And of course, callout is one thing that you detest, and it could be any person, place, or thing.
Even you?
Yes, even me.
Even me, okay.
So, my callout.
Spire, what's your shoutouts and call out?
Yes. So I'll go first here. My callout, first of all, is to fucking Windows Update, because not only just like because Windows Update is so fucking hard to mess with, so fucking annoying to like really permanently do anything with in Windows 10, and also recent updates have messed around with a lot of my settings. I'm just like, oh my god, just fucking end me now. So call out to Windows updates, especially Windows 10 version. And what did I say this? Oh, my shout out is up to Thanksgiving, because I got to eat a lot of. I mean, it's not like I eat like only small amounts of food when it's outside of Thanksgiving necessarily, but it's like Thanksgiving really allows for us to usually eat like different foods that we usually wouldn't eat. A lot more, like turkey, mashed potato, gravy, pie, stuffing, whatever, stuff like that, right? So, I got to enjoy that. So, shout outs to that.
What'd you eat? Let's compare Thanksgivings.
I had the standard kind of thing: mashed potatoes, gravy.
Do you guys actually
Turkey,
like stuffing? I don't like stuffing.
Well, we
Yeah.
don't put the stuffing in the turkey. We just make stuffing,
Yeah,
like on pan these
I
days.
mean, I'd rather just make double the mashed potatoes, if that's the choice.
I mean, we had a lot of mashed potatoes too. So, but yeah.
Stuffing's like my favorite part.
Really?
Stuffing can
You
be
must
really,
have
really
good
good.
stuffing then, because
Almost like
all the
a
ones I
yeah.
made
bread
are
pudding.
shitty.
Yeah, we have good stuffing.
But yeah, so shout outs to that. Nier, what do you have for us?
Shoutouts to I watched a movie recently.
Okay.
Is it Joker?
No, I watched that a while ago. I watched Isle of Dogs.
How many dogs are in it?
Quite a few.
Nice.
A Wes Anderson film, animated film, stop motion animation. Very good. I liked it a lot. It's very good. Fun movie. Should go watch it if you haven't.
Do any dogs die?
No.
Good. Okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good movie. Fun movie. I don't know. I don't know what to call it.
Wow, Nier's not angry this time.
Imagine that.
Near, tell us about Canadian Thanksgiving and why you didn't have it.
Because we have it in October.
Yeah, why is that? Wait, you have like double? You have double Thanksgiving Halloween? Wow, you're lucky.
Sure. Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty sure I shouted out Guilty Gear last episode. Did I not?
Maybe.
Yes.
I feel like
Possible.
you did. You know, I'm gonna
Double
I'm
shout out. Do
gonna
it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
I'm gonna walk that
No,
one
not
back.
quite.
I'm gonna
Oh.
walk that back. A interview came out lately with Daisuke Ushiwatari, the lead director behind the
Guilty
new
Gear?
Guilty Gear Strive.
Wait, it's really called Strive?
It is. It's called Strive.
What?
'Cause it's got an IV in it. And it's
Oh,
Guilty
okay.
Gear 4 apparently. I don't know where Guilty Gear 3 is, but you know.
Xrd, third.
Xrd is part of the X series. It's not part of the
Well,
main.
now it's
Yeah.
now it's an Xrd.
Yeah, but in this interview, he said quite a few things, and really, honestly, none of them were good. he said, what was it? Like he said something like if Guilty Gear Xrd would be compared to a game like Shogi, which is much more dictated by logic and strategy and knowledge, then he wants Guilty Gear Strive to be more like Mahjong, which is much more luck based, which not really what somebody wants to hear in a fighting game in development. And he pretty much said that the fact that in Guilty Gear Strive that 2 hits will take like 30% of someone's life. He pretty much said that's intended. That's how he wants the game to be. He wants basically he wants scrubs to be able to just mash buttons and be like, haha, I'm doing damage.
Definitely a bigger sort of luck factor, which is unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
What if
you
he's
know,
only ever seen Saki for Mahjong? Ever think
haha.
of that?
But I just pretty much throughout the entirety of watching Guilty Gear Strive's like coverage in the past little while, I was of the mind that the damage was like temporary, right? Like Arxis didn't really think that hard about the damage scaling that was in the current build, and when they saw like the people doing actual combos and stuff and how they were doing like fucking 70% damage combos in the corner, that Arxis was going to be like, holy shit, maybe this isn't a good idea. But then Daisuke Shotari just comes out and he's like, nope, that's intended. I want it like that. I don't know if I want to play this game anymore. Like
It has a very confusing
I don't
situation.
know. I don't know if anybody wants to play that game, like especially scrubs, right? Because like he notes that he was downgrading Oki because he thought new players, like if a game has strong Oki, then new players just don't get a chance to play, right, against a player that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, but at
Um,
least Saul will now kill you in 3 hits. So
yeah, and
it's
it's like
faster.
new players aren't gonna want to play a game where they die in 2 hits. Like nobody wants to play that game,
Yeah,
especially competitively. Like people will play a game like Bushido Blade because it's goofy and stupid and you can cut off somebody's leg in a single hit, right? But there's no like Bushido Blade fucking tournaments.
yeah.
Like it's not a competitive game because it's fucking dumb.
I
Like
just I just
nobody.
Also, Bushido Blade is not quite a fucking 2D fighter.
Yeah, like
Like,
it's just.
also, I feel like it's even worse because it's not quite
again,
as
I mean,
fast. Like, it's not even like dive kick.
fighting games aside, I just think that this almost meme of like we just need to make everything easier and then things will be enjoyable kind of has gone a little bit too far, especially with the most prevalent example of MOBAs kind of staring at us in the face, right? I mean, like League of Legends is relatively easy comparing something like an old Dota or Dota 2, but still like there's still a lot of information to suck in, and it's definitely not something where people can literally just be like, "Oh, I'm starting out, level one. Yeah, it's just fucking like time to just flash in and just kill everybody." That's not how the game works, right?
Well,
It's like,
I think it's also a matter of like just fighting games just need to be marketed differently. Of being, essentially, as for a lot of games too, where it's like, all right, you have turns essentially. Like, you can't just expect to jump in and fucking win every time, and you're
I
always on the
mean, I
attack. And
don't. I don't really think fighting games do need to be marketed differently.
I,
I think the market for fighting games is a known quantity. The fact that confuses me is that game developers right now are trying to get more people into fighting games, and the way they're doing it is by alienating everybody that plays fighting games. It's so bizarre to me. Like I don't understand the strategy because everybody that plays fighting games has been saying for a really long time, if you want to get people into fighting games, you have to make them easier to learn, which doesn't mean easier. It means easier to learn.
I think
And
the
B,
big
you have to have more content. Fighting games are so barren on content.
I don't think it's even the content necessarily. I think it's just like it's just it's pointing out something where it's like Guilty Gear's audience is Guilty Gear players, and the big thing is again just need to increase the audience. And I think the biggest thing that increases the audience and kind of gets people in is just like a general, how do I say this, like a viral role. Like at least these days is like a combination of like viral stuff going on and kind of word of mouth plus sort of the any sort of like associated brand name, right? For instance, again, Dota 2. What was it associated with? The old Dota, so people got in. League of Legends had their strong marketing push in a time where things were kind of shaky in the esports community, and then that kind of grew by word of mouth. And then what was honestly the biggest um, what was the biggest phenomena in terms of fighting games in Japan? It wasn't necessarily. I mean, like in terms of sales, sure, like global sales, like you can talk about Street Fighter, Tekken, whatever. But in terms of like just having people check out the game, like come into the arcade, like boys, girls, whoever, like random people, right? That hadn't even experienced necessarily games, like doing real serious games before. What was the cultural phenomenon? It was Persona 4 Arena. It was Persona 4 Arena. Because Persona, right? So I think that sort of thing needs to be emphasized.
Yeah, I mean that's fair too, but like look at Mortal Kombat 11, right? It's one of the it's what the greatest selling like fighting game like ever.
Yeah.
And
Really?
it's not
Oh.
it's
Yeah,
not
it is.
just because it's Mortal Kombat. Like that's obviously a big part, but it's because it has like fucking 80 different modes that casuals can just play. Like they don't have to even face a human opponent.
That is
Like
also true.
That's
Yeah.
there's a
honestly why
shitload of fucking content in that
I
game.
think Grand Blue Versus is going to do really well because it's got even the fucking small beat 'em up section. Like, uh, I should probably not reiterate, change what I was saying in a way. I don't mean sort of like alter the way fighting games are marketed. I should probably say more of understand that you should be doubling down rather than being like, trying to market your game as something it's not and it'll never be. Like you were saying before, even with Strive, it's not going to be for casual because if you can get killed in one fucking like one touch by most of the cast, no casual is going to want to play that.
Yeah.
Very, very, just a very unfortunate situation they put themselves in. But oh well. But yeah,
Should have just made another MOBA.
that was shout calls from Nier and Dark. What do you have for us?
Um. Okay, so I'm gonna have more of like a meme call out, and I'll make my shout out because these were interchangeable. But so we have some more WoW drama, some great Warcraft drama this week. Pretty sick. Um, so I'm gonna shout out a YouTuber, just content creator, Pyromancer, for sticking up for himself and essentially platforming a leak for one of the character designs from main enemy of the new expansion called the Jailer. So what happened was in the trailer for World of Warcraft Shadowlands, there's like this silhouetted guy, like you can see his whole silhouette. You can actually see like a lot of what he kind of will look like, but the full concept art was leaked because someone took a picture of it and then posted it to Twitter, and then people saved it, and then it got DM'd to him, and so he saw it. Now the problem is that Pyromancer is all of his content is speculation and theory crafting, or not theory crafting, whatever you want to call that, like lore theories and everything like that.
Okay.
That's all his content, and it's really entertaining. Like he goes through, he pulls shit from the books, from like every source you can possibly find.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so his whole, reasoning was he now has seen what the jailer looks like. He literally could not talk about the jailer until they reveal what he looks like. If he didn't put it out, like put it out there even bigger, like on his own platform. And it's not like he took the picture and it's not like he even leaked it. No, it was making rounds. Apparently, bigger YouTubers and content creators had already had a DM to them as well.
Right.
Because months, like Asmongold came out and said that, he had that sent to him like a month ago. So it was obviously going around. And people were really mad at him for making the video. Not his own audience, mind you, and not many people, but bigger websites like Wowhead and other YouTubers that I've called out before on this specific thing and have gotten into spats with, uh, tried to like basically take a moral high ground of like being anti-leak and everything, and talking about how it's disrespectful to the artists, etc. And I'm like, I'm glad he stood up for himself because essentially it's just not fair because those YouTubers aren't only like lore theories and everything and don't just talk about lore and like the upcoming story of the game and everything like that. So to basically eliminate the new expansion, like that one major character, the main enemy of the new expansion, until whenever Blizzard decided to reveal it,
Mhm.
is pretty unfair. Like that's a lot of content he now can't talk about because he can't talk about the appearance of the character, which is very it doesn't really reveal anything, but it opens up speculation because it looks very similar to and spoiler alert, looks very similar to the Titans, which are like the gods. So, not being able to talk about that would be kind of horseshit.
Which
And
Titans? Like the Hercules ones?
yeah, they're
Nice.
based on like they're based on mythological type. So, yeah, it was pretty cool that he just straight up made the decision to go with it and that there's a lot of people in support of it. Me personally, I'm more excited now that, you see this enemy type and it's like, oh shit, that looks a lot like a Titan. That'll be pretty awesome if like they tie him back into that. And yeah, I always just thought it was kind of bullshit that a lot of these bigger websites and stuff, like Wowhead, they'll sort of like wave their finger when if someone leaks it with a YouTube video like this or gives it a platform with a YouTube video. But they would have jumped all over that shit if it had popped up on 4chan or it popped up on like, any other forum or Reddit. Like they absolutely would have reported that. So, and they have in the past. They did it with the new expansion league.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't like how they did it. Yeah, I agree with Session. They're mad that they didn't get to it first. I mean, like they had it and they said they were trying to say they were taking the moral high ground, but it's like it doesn't matter anymore. Like if someone posted it to Twitter, that's free game. Like just because it was small time doesn't really mean anything. It's like it's gonna start making the rounds more and more. So
Very unfortunate.
yeah, it was just a shitty situation all around. But honestly, I feel like this was the best like outcome in that point and the most fair to everyone involved, really, because it doesn't really take away from anyone. And no one's had it spoiled that didn't want it spoiled. It's not like it's been posted like front page anywhere. It wasn't even the thumbnail of his video. So yeah,
Okay.
and that's that for my shout out. My other technically would have been a shout out, but I'm gonna calling out Cygames for making World Flipper because now I'm playing World Flipper
Oh
and
my
I'm playing
god,
Grand
World
Blue.
Flipper.
So
Yeah,
World
fucking.
Flipper is it's a lot of fun, but I
I've
really
seen that
didn't need
making the
another
rounds.
mobile game in my life.
Oh.
I also keep getting fucking dupe 5 stars, so that's a feeling I didn't want to have again, but here we are. I didn't experience it that much in Grand Blue because you don't really get them often, but
Okay.
Actually, no, I don't even know why I'm saying that. I got Urius's weapon 5 fucking times in that. Either way, it stings less than Grand because it's weapons.
Right. Okay. Last but not least, Toast.
What's up? Oh,
Shout out calls, please.
shout out. My call out. Yeah, my call out is to everyone oppressing Azur Lane. Don't do that. We already had a nightmare with Concole and how bad anime was. Don't do that to Azur Lane. It deserves better. You know who you are. Also, Gimme Minato Aqua. Apparently, she's like the best sub now because she can shoot like 20 torps. Gimme, but she won't drop.
Okay. Fuck. Okay.
What's your
Well,
shout out?
All right.
what's your shout out?
Shout out is to Saber Astolfo.
Well, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you
okay,
seen Saber
sure.
Astolfo?
No.
What's wrong with you?
What the fuck? Why would I know? Yeah, come
Wow,
on.
and you call yourself gay.
Like, you took regular Astolfo. It's cool. You made it better, and I'm like, well, how could you do that to me?
Better how? He just has less clothes.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
what's wrong with that?
I'm
You
pretty
saying
sure
you
he
like
also
clothes?
still sucks ass with his skills. Like his skills
But
are not good.
no one cares about that. You seen that dude who got level 92?
Everybody only cares about how fast they can jump on a stick.
Yeah, man. You've seen it? It's pretty cool.
Seen what?
Saber Astolfo? Why the
Yeah.
heck did everyone die? What? Pretty cool in the air.
Disagree,
Pretty
but
cool.
okay.
Shout outs to Saber Astolfo. I wish we got Saber Nero, Santa Nero, but like we didn't. So I'll take this. Pretty cool. There's no Dojins yet though, so I'm highly disappointed in the world.
Oh, it's can't have
What is
everything.
it? What's the line here? The world has betrayed me, like Kiritsugu style or something. Whatever. Cursed by the Grail. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you, Toast, for the shout out call out. And with that, we're done with the episode. Finally, it took a little bit of a while, but had a lot of things to cover. Again, we're going to. This is the end for our fall 2019 show. Next week will be our winter 2019 preview show, or not 2019, but winter sort of 2019-2020 preview show. And after that, we're going to have our award show. The exact date of our award show will be determined pretty soon and put up on our social media. So be sure to keep tabs on that. If you do like what we do, we stream our live recording every other Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with a number 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, visual novels, web novels, much more. So if you do like what we do, please follow us down here. You can check us our VODs out here as well as on our YouTube channel. So format you desire. And of course on our social media as well, where we updates on what we're doing, what dates, what series we're covering, so on and so forth, on our Facebook and our Twitter. So Facebook 4PlayAnimecast, Twitter handle at 4PlayAnimecast, also starting with the number 4. And yeah, so check us out there. Again, we'll be fixing the date for our awards show pretty shortly. So check our social media for more updates. With that, we'll see you next time.